Ouch. Hello. Hello, hello. I have to open my stream through my phone. No way. What is up, my guy? I wonder if I fix that overlay. What do you mean fix that overlay? Actually, I do need to fix the chat box, actually. Because what is this? Wait a minute now. Why is it like that? I don't like this. I don't like this. You guys. What the fuck? There we go. Wait a minute. Now we're getting somewhere. Now hold on. Yes. I think. And I don't think very well. I'm gonna be honest, this is like makeshift as fuck. And I was just like, one day I decided like, people don't know Lucas as well as I think they should. And the only way to really like do that is if I like do like a matchup chart because you know, and that's that. Thank you. If there's any problems with the stream, just honestly just say something. I'm literally just streaming like my Chrome tab, so it's not like, you know, I need anything crazy. I already have like everything set up. It's literally just up to discussion at this point. I don't know. The whole purpose of this is literally just so that I can kind of put this out there because I've never actually like solidified a Lucas matchup chart. And that's what this is. So we're going to do that. I'm just kind of like waiting a little bit, I guess, because that's usually what I do, I guess. And yeah. I could turn my camera on, but like it's dark, and honestly, y'all, I don't care. But anyways, I hope everyone is having a lovely afternoon this afternoon. And I can't wait to get started on this matchup chart this afternoon. Currently in the afternoon. You see light? Of course I did. Of course I saw light lost to Bubs in Connecticut. Both of you do assume that I haven't. Actually, I wonder if I'm too loud. Because this thing is up. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I am loud. Hold on, y'all. Let's do this. Okay. Wait a minute. Right. Exactly. And now? And now what? There we go. Okay. This is really funny, you guys. Every single time I stream, I put my phone like right next to me with the chat so that I don't miss it. Because that's honestly the only way I can do it. Because I don't have like a monitor. I'm currently on a laptop, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna turn the light on. Because actually, no, I can't. All right. Um, if anything happens, you guys let me know. If there's any sound quality issues. Um, but honestly, I am so ready to get into this because all I talk about is how stupid Lucas can be. And I feel like when it comes to matchups specifically, everyone's like, oh, but Lucas has this weakness. And I'm like, but no. You know what I mean? Listen, okay. Why don't we get started? So, first character we will be discussing is Mario. So, well, actually, here's how I'm gonna do this. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to like go over neutral, and then advantage and disadvantage for both characters, and offstage, and yeah, offstage, because that's kind of like those are like the big. Oh, the audio is clipping. God, I just started. How is the audio clipping? Like, why is the audio clipping? Is this not? Why is this even? Can we not do that? Thank you. Right. Let me go ahead. Okay, your audio's okay. All right. I'm gonna just like hear through my end. Okay, your audio's okay. All right. Okay, it might just be okay. Oh, so I'm sharding. Period. All right. So yeah, like I said, the way that I'm gonna do this is very simple. I'm just gonna go over neutral in the matchup, and I'll go over advantage and disadvantage state along with offstage for both characters. And to start with Mario, let's discuss neutral, right? So Mario in neutral is all about approaching and getting combo starters. At least. And okay, let me also clarify this. I don't actually have vast character knowledge like some of you might. So if I go over a character and there is something that you know about that I probably have not mentioned, please, like, go ahead. That's the whole point of this, right? This is we're crafting right now. We are crafting a matchup chart, right? So if I, like, for example, like, I don't even know, I might not know much about, Mii fighters, because honestly, screw Mii fighters, right? And yeah. So anyways, neutral for Lucas Mario, right? Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put them where we're gonna put them. God, I've never done this. And we'll see how we feel. So let me think. Mario, Lucas, honestly, dare I say it, probably even. And the reason I say this is pretty simple, actually. Lucas can actually outzone Mario and keep him out of, like that circle where he can just start juggling you, start comboing you, and considering how fast his options are, like a lot faster than Lucas's, he can kind of brawl Lucas a lot better up close. But Lucas has a really, really, really like easy job to just like outspace him with forward airs, outspace him with zairs, outspace him with PK Fire. PK Fire is like a really, really useful tool. And people think that because characters have reflectors that PK Fire can be negated. That is not true. PK Fire is so quick and such a short projectile that sometimes reflecting it is literally pointless. It's literally the same as if you were to just shield or just run away. And that factor alone, considering PK Fire is such a powerful zoning tool, Mario cannot really approach Lucas comfortably. Obviously, Mario can't use Fireball because Lucas can just absorb that and run away. And the reason why I say it's even though is, like I said, when Lucas gets approached by Mario, Lucas is a floaty. He's gonna get comboed. He's gonna get juggled, and that puts Lucas at such a bad state. Not to mention, I'm not even talking about neutral, y'all. See, this is why. But anyways, in neutral, like I said, Mario needs to approach Lucas, and Lucas does a really good job keeping him away. Now, as for Mario's advantage, okay, whatever. Let's do it. Okay, we're doing it one by one. Neutral, right? Mario struggles. Main important factor is that Mario struggles to approach. As for advantage states for both characters, Mario's advantage state, honestly, I will say, is probably better than Lucas's in this matchup, for the whole reason that, well, again, like, Lucas is floaty, right? And it's really hard for Lucas to get back on the stage when he's in the air. So yeah, I believe that covers his advantage state. Lucas's advantage state is like, it's kind of okay in this matchup. Well, actually, that's a lie. It's really good. But it just feels less rewarding than Mario, because Mario has such, like, he has the ability to play patient, and where Lucas can't get those combo starters in, and just, like, you know, right? But Lucas, when he has Mario in disadvantage, he kind of just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm going too deep into this, actually, because this is going to take a long time if I'm going to do this for every single character now that I think about it. So it's a good thing we're, like, just starting, because I'm figuring this out as I go. And to be honest with you, all I can say is that up close, Mario's better. Off stage, I think Lucas actually struggles compared to Mario, mostly because Mario actually has options to deal with Lucas off stage, including Cape, such a wonderful tool, right? You just gotta Cape PK Thunder, and Lucas can't make it sometimes. You know, obviously Lucas can change the angle, he can go under the stage, but then he's prone to, you know, getting back aired if he can't tech and stuff like that. So, and as for Mario off stage, Mario kind of just like, he has an option to kind of like recover high or low, but I say high, but he usually always goes for like the same angle, you know, kind of like not horizontally, but like diagonally from the stage, because, you know, his up B, it's really hard to two frame for Lucas, even though he can do it with forward tilt and down smash. BK Thunder, though, honestly, okay, if we're gonna talk about Lucas's edge guarding when it comes to this matchup, Lucas, oh, man, honestly, I might put this in +1 just because I kind of like rethink about Lucas off stage compared to Mario. Like, Mario only really can cape Lucas and try to like ledge trap him, or not ledge trap him, but like cover ledge and cover any ledge options. But Lucas can commit off stage. That's the thing. Lucas can go off stage, he can edge guard characters, he can bait air dodges. Mario doesn't really have that luxury because his recovery is a little more limited. And for that reason alone, I feel like Lucas probably, all really Lucas has to do is, once he puts Mario off stage, bait out an option, try to get him to recover to like a good enough angle to where you can two frame him, honestly. And yeah, but the moment that Mario catches you off the ledge and off stage, that's kind of a little more scary for Lucas. All right, DK, welcome, Spectre, thank you for coming in. DK is wonderful +2 matchup for Lucas. Main key points: DK cannot approach Lucas, at least not grounded. DK has a horrible disadvantage state in this matchup, and off stage is honestly just really, really difficult for DK because Lucas has every single option. PK freeze to cover his horizontal recovery. He has PK Thunder. He can down smash. The only thing that DK really like can do is kind of like bait out bad options and like keep him in the air, because the only good state that DK is in is when Lucas is above him. And that's really it, because he doesn't really do a fantastic job, you know, edge guarding Lucas. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty set on that. As for Link, now, Link is really, really hard for Lucas, I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to decide between plus, because the main reason why I want to put him in -2 is because neutral against this character is, yes, +2 means advantage for Lucas. What was I saying? Neutral for this character is so ridiculously hard to play around because all this character has to do is cover the entire stage with projectiles, and Lucas has to kind of like stay in the air, and he can reflect them and he can like combat them, but same thing kind of like for Mario and for Link is that Link is actually really stupid up close. Like Nair is ridiculously strong against Lucas, considering Lucas does not have really good out of shield options. His best bet against like Nair and like that kind of approach is like anti-airs, and his only really good anti-air is like up tilt. You know what I mean? So, but the only thing that Lucas really can do in this matchup is like, I guess, he has a decent advantage state. The moment he puts Link off stage, right? In the case that the Link is not very efficient at, bomb recovering, then Lucas actually edge guards Link very well, and that's why I'm kind of like putting it more towards -1, is because a lot of these characters, the moment you get off stage, it becomes very, very easy to kind of like gimp them. And Link would be one of those characters, again, that's like, I'm telling you, like, you rarely see Links not know how to recover with down B. So this is like, it's doable, but it's so hard, like it feels like you're playing an uphill battle in this matchup. The samosas. I'm trying to think, actually. Let me think. Dare I say, actually, I will put this matchup in -1 as well. Because similarly to Link, I feel that in a way, Samus does have a lot of ground coverage with her. Let me put both of them, actually. I don't even know why there's two. They're both Echo Fighters. Am I going to post this? That's a great question. I don't know how and what you mean. But Samus, again, like I said, she covers the ground with her projectiles. And again, like, Lucas can reflect, Lucas can absorb, but those little moments kind of matter because obviously, like, reflecting missile will just warrant the Samus to shield it, right? Lucas can't constantly be reflecting and dealing projectiles when he needs to approach and he needs to get an advantage state because... am I going to make a YouTube video? Let me think. I don't even know how I can, honestly, from here, because all I really did was just start streaming. So we'll figure that out as we go, honestly, or post it to any social media. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out because, yes, the plan is, yes, I do want to post this. Good so far. I appreciate it. But yeah, so... reflecting projectiles is very, very tedious for Lucas because Lucas's reflector is just fast and grounded. That is the really, really bad thing about this matchup, is that normally, yes, reflectors do deal with projectiles, but things like Samus, Zaire, and oh, you want me to explain Mario again? All I really said about Mario was that Mario only really has the advantage against Lucas up close. Lucas doesn't have fast enough options to deal with Mario's like advantage state and all his like, like neutral air, back air. Oh my god, back air is so good against Lucas. However, the moment that Mario is off stage, Lucas actually can take advantage of him pretty easily compared to a lot of other characters that Mario faces. He can bait air dodges out with PK freeze. He can put Mario in a position to where he has to recover quickly. And yeah, I just feel like Lucas can outspace Mario as well. And yeah, whatever. And that's Mario. So Samus has really good zoning tools, actually much better than Lucas, because her Zaire reaches farther, her projectiles just kind of more apparent, like more difficult than like PK Fire. PK Fire is just a good mid-range zoning tool. But this girl she can cover the whole stage, right? And that's kind of like where neutral like is so Samus favored. But the moment that Lucas actually, I feel that their advantage states are actually pretty similar. Even though I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Samus kind of can't do much with her advantage state as much as Lucas can. Lucas kind of can put much more power and percentage into his combo game. So the moment that you actually do get in on the Sami, you can probably deal a lot of damage. But there are things to look out for, like up B out of shield, and really that's mostly it. But like, the character is just super extremely hard to punish and trying to catch, because down B in the air honestly is very, very finicky. You know, Lucas doesn't have like big enough reliable hitboxes in the air to deal with her down B. And I'm gonna be honest, I struggle very hard to give this character. I don't know what it is about this girl's up B, but it just does not like PK Thunder. It doesn't like the only like real options that Lucas can use to kind of deal with Samus off stage, mostly because of down B. Down B just makes it so much easier for her to recover horizontally. Is like, honestly, he could go off stage and like try to like attack her and, you know, approach her. And yes, I did not mention that, but PK Thunder is actually really not reliable in the Mario matchup as well, because his up B is just too fast and it just goes through it. I really just kind of rely on, you know, two framing or even PK freeze, honestly, or even literally just going off stage and fighting the motherfucker, you know. But anyways, so again, like hard to approach, hard to gimp off stage, you know, hard to edge guard, and which is like really huge for Lucas. If Lucas can get you off stage, I'm telling you, this character is dumb. He can just kill you, right? And I'm trying to think of what else. And oh my god, trying to recover as Lucas and getting on stage is so unbelievably hard with down B at the ledge. All the pressure she has with her neutral B and her down tilt is just really difficult. And yeah, honestly, the only real strength Lucas has in this matchup is probably his advantage state, which usually doesn't really last long because of how mobile like Samus is in the air, and just, you know, things like that. All right, next matchup, Yoshi. Ooh, let me think. I'm a firm believer that Yoshi Lucas is even. Potentially Lucas favor. And the reason I say potentially is because back to that kind of neutral where Lucas can kind of keep Yoshi away very effectively. Yoshi obviously has up B, right? You know, he could throw eggs, but the difference between PK Fire and up B, Yoshi up B, is that for Yoshi up B, you really have to like incorporate it into your approach in a way, because you won't really gain anything out of up being, because it's not as effective as PK Fire, right? And the thing is, it's very easy to shield, considering it, you know, it's getting thrown much further. So neutral is kind of like Lucas kind of has to play pretty like baity. He can't really like catch Yoshi very easily in the air, especially because, you know, double jump, and it's really hard to like bust through armor. What else? And generally speaking, Yoshi has to play very aerial in general, really, but in this matchup specifically, like Lucas actually like gets out aerialed sometimes. And as Lucas, you kind of just have to accept that and learn to move away and just PK Fire and catch landings. Thank you so much, Suki, for stopping by. I'm very glad you stopped by. And yeah, so that's another thing is Lucas actually genuinely cannot edgeguard this character sometimes. Well, actually, most of the time. And that actually, now that I think about it, does change a lot, in the sense that like Lucas doesn't heavily rely on edgeguarding characters. The only reason why edgeguarding characters is so good for Lucas is because Lucas is just he has so many options to edgeguard characters. Yoshi can just invalidate PK Thunder. Yoshi can play aggressive at the ledge, which Lucas kind of just does not really have that many options against. Lucas's favorite tools in this matchup, honestly, might be forward air and PK Fire across all these characters are going to be such carrying tools. These tools carry him so much. Very safe on shield forward air, very safe on shield Zair. Impossible to approach against PK Fire. But that's kind of for further discussion. Against Yoshi for more than 4 seconds, and he can just hold shield. Yeah, that's another thing, right? So Lucas advantage state against this character. I might go ahead and say that Yoshi might have a better advantage state than Lucas because of double jump. And honestly, my brain is kind of telling me to put him in -1, just because as much as Yoshi can't approach Lucas, I feel that Yoshi finds a little more reward than Lucas does, for the sole reason that Lucas doesn't have consistent follow-ups as much as Yoshi might. Even though he does, he has some consistent follow-ups, right? But they're definitely not as reliable in this matchup, considering his advantage state is so much worse. Let me think what else. And oh my god, let's not even talk about his disadvantage in this matchup, actually, because Lucas in the air cannot land against a good Yoshi. A good Yoshi will very easily be able to catch him in the air because he's very slow. Mind you, he can mix up his movement, wave bounces in the air, similarly kind of to how the Sami do it. But overall, it's just really hard for Lucas to kind of stay in advantage, keep Yoshi off stage. His best bet is to kind of just keep Yoshi in neutral, if anything. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's really not that bad. Keeping a character in neutral, being able to take advantage of a character and do better than them in neutral is so much more rewarding than people make it out to be. People are impatient, right? As Lucas, you get so much from just waiting for your opponent, because the whole character's playstyle is literally just, here's me throwing a ton of annoying shit at you so that you can get annoyed and approach me, and then for me to punish you. That's essentially Lucas's flowchart game plan. And for Yoshi, it kind of works, but it's not as rewarding. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm just trying to read. Tell me this even. Generally speaking, if Yoshi does not know this matchup, I'm not gonna lie, Yoshi's gonna struggle, because inherently what Yoshi has strengths over Lucas is his ability to get out of combos and just stay so mobile and be able to get back on stage. But if Yoshis are just kind of recovering the same and doing whatever the same, Lucas does have options to combat double jump at ledge. PK freeze is very effective, down smash is pretty effective, but Lucas really can't deal with up B approaches at ledge from Yoshi. So generally speaking, Lucas's main goal in this matchup is to just kind of keep Yoshi in neutral until he finds an opening to where he can get a good chunk on him. As for killing Yoshi, Lucas kind of well, honestly, discussing Lucas's kill options are a whole thing. But in this matchup specifically, Yoshi's no different from any other character to where he can just land a Zair into fair at late percents, or just grab and throw. And considering forward air is also a kill move and it's extremely beneficial in this matchup, you're gonna use it a lot. As for Kirby now, I'm honestly not gonna lie to you, Kirby is crazy. Kirby is stupid. I would say Kirby honestly has probably one of the most, I don't want to say underrated ground games in the game. And Lucas actually has I want to say a mid ground game. because realistically, he doesn't have any options that are very significant. The only options that really are there are like forward tilt, and honestly, that is mainly just used to like knock people away. Kirby, on the other hand, Kirby has some crazy like grounded options. Down tilt. Kirby down tilt is ridiculous, and realistically, Lucas in this matchup, because Kirby is kind of a little harder to approach, he's gonna keep Kirby away. But the moment that Kirby is in disadvantage is when Kirby really, really struggles. Kirby offstage against Lucas struggles immensely. Lucas has like very quick edge guarding tools, and Kirby's best bet is to try to like air dodge through PK Thunder, try to recover high. But again, it's like his recovery is just so slow that characters like Lucas can so easily take advantage of him off stage. So in this matchup, really all you really want to try to do is get Kirby off stage and keep him in disadvantage and play a safe neutral. And honestly, then Kirby can't really do much other than like, I mean, the moment that he like starts landing something is like, and mind you, Kirby can kill. Like Kirby, like I'm talking like 60%, like 70%. This character can kill you if you're not careful. Like down tilt, forward smash, sometimes, you know, because it trips. Things like that. It's just like that's kind of like why you have to play safe, and it will work in your favor. And yeah, that's kind of like Kirby. Fair one, F smash. Yes. Oh my god, ridiculous. By the way, Fox. Oh my god. Actually, let me put my thinking cap on for this one because Fox is so complicated, right? And I'm actually glad we're talking about this now because what Bubs did was he brought light to this like stupid matchup like thing that you could do, which is just 0-0-0 down here, right? And you know, believe it or not, it's actually so effective. The moment that you catch a Fox landing, bam, like that's Nair into Zair, and then off the stage, and he might die. And the thing is, there are certain times where it's inconsistent, and sometimes it might not work 100%. Actually, let me go ahead and, well, actually, I don't know yet. We'll talk about him, but no, not yet. Fox is a rushdown character, and Lucas, that is the playstyle that Lucas struggles with the most. His landing options are so safe. He is just so quick to catch Lucas. Lucas actually cannot use PK Fire in this matchup as effectively, which is really detrimental. For this matchup specifically, you do not want flat stages. You will not be able to fight this character on a flat stage. You can't do it on, I want to say, Town is hard, FD is hard. Your best bet, honestly, might be like, I want to say Hollow Bastion or even Smashville, to be honest with you. Like, it's that, like, it is, I don't want to say it's stage dependent. It's kind of like neutral, right? So like Fox's neutral is just aggressive and very punish heavy and fast, right? Lucas, as a character who relies heavily on kind of baiting options, that doesn't work. So that's why you really need platforms to kind of like make sure, because Nair, oh my god, Nair is the one thing like that is so hard for Lucas, is because it's just so safe, such a good like, you know, combo starter, and just tool in general, late percents, high percents. It's just really scary. You do not want to find yourself under a neutral air or under a Fox in general. And that is why like platforms are so essential, is because Lucas can catch Fox on platforms. Lucas is able to up tilt him. He can, you know, like it's just much more doable. As for offstage, or actually as for Lucas' advantage state in this matchup, I'm not gonna lie to you, like I want to say it's like even, because Fox getting you in the air, terrifying, right? Those up airs are going to come in like a train. Lucas getting Fox off stage, or even comboing him in general, because mind you, he is a fast faller. Zairs are deadly against Fox. I'm telling you, like, he will die to Zair. He will die to like Zair and probably any percent, to be honest with you. Like, it's just that strong. You know, at earlier percents, he can just downer you off the stage. At mid percents, he can probably looking for a sneaky forward smash. Late percents, forward air, and he's dead. And that's why, like, and this, because his character is so fast, it's hard to bait him. But the moment that you get in advantage state, that fox better play. That fox is in trouble, right? So yes, I would say probably off. Okay, let's talk about offstage, right? Fox, honestly, if I were to think about it, compared to Lucas, Lucas can edge guard Fox a little more easily, and I actually no, I don't want to say a little more easily, because it really comes down to that, like, Fox being able to use his side B to the ledge or not, right? Is Fox going to recover from high using his side B? Is he going to try to like grab the ledge with side B? Those are like the only things really that Fox can do without being punished, really. And especially because he's such a fast faller, it's really hard for Lucas to PK Thunder effectively, or even catch him with PK Freeze. So Lucas actually really has to play by the ledge. If you open yourself up to Fox up Bing, or if Fox up B's, I don't even know why I said that, but if Fox up B's under the stage, then your best bet, honestly, I'm trying to think, if he recovers from below the ledge, you have back air, you have down air, you can even cancel him his up B with neutral air. Like, it's just, yeah, it's just Lucas has options no matter where he is. If he's because inherently Fox usually his like Fox, the only really thing that Fox can do without being punished, probably, like, realistically, is probably landing on stage and trying to land with like a punish like neutral air. And I do want to go with the assumption that Lucas, like, two frames effectively, like, hypothetically speaking, if we were to watch a match right now and both players knew their character to like the maximum, and I mean, like, obviously, like, that's kind of on paper, but you guys get the idea. Yeah, like I said, back air is really good off stage, but yeah, so like Fox genuinely just like cannot recover to the stage effectively if Lucas can catch him. And to be honest with you, neutral is really scary. Disadvantage is really scary. However, his advantage is so good in this matchup. And offstage is like doable, but you gotta be good at it. So between me and you, honestly, this would probably, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm about to be that guy. This matchup is even. Like, Lucas, like, let me think, because I don't want to like regret this decision, but I think I might. So I'm trying to think a little more in depth. I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm gonna say -1 because that neutral is just so unbelievably hard for Lucas, and I'm imagining, and I can say it with confidence that it's really hard. It's really hard to find that opening in this matchup because inherently he's just a rush down. I'm also gonna say there probably might not be a lot of -2s in this matchup chart because, like, genuinely Lucas can like. He can play with so many different playstyles. I feel that it's really not as bad as some people say, like, in certain cases. You know what? Actually, hold on. I'm going to answer my mom's phone call. Give me 1 second. Yes, the BRB, lol, yes. All right. Now that that is taken care of, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Where were we actually? Were we on Fox? We were on Fox. Okay. Again, neutral, very hard. Advantage state, very rewarding. But because neutral is so hard, advantage state is so rare. Moving on. Pikachu. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is an even matchup. Now, bear with me right now. Bear with me because I have a feeling that this is not going to resonate with you guys. But let's talk about it, right? Neutral. Okay? Neutral. Are you listening? Neutral. Sorry. So, one thing about Pikachu in neutral is that Pikachu's main goal is to put you in disadvantage. Honestly, like that is just kind of like the premise with a lot of these characters. And honestly, I just have such a way of words that I'm going to be repeating that a lot. But you would think that, like, okay, so Thunder Jolt, right? Thunder Jolt is a really, really core neutral tool for Pikachu because it allows you to cover that space and allows you to approach, but you cannot do that in this matchup. Kind of similarly to how Mario uses it, right? Similar to Mario, Pikachu is really good up close, like unbelievably punishing, right? His advantage state will be like green throughout every matchup. It's bad. It's like Nintendo, what the fuck, right? But I'm not gonna lie to you, Lucas's advantage state in this matchup is equally as stupid. Pikachu doesn't really have anything to deal with like PK Fire, realistically. And I know you might say like up B, right? But here's the thing. PK Fire, it does not go through PK Fire. It's kind of like finicky, but quick attack kind of like, it's a good approach for Pikachu, but PK Fire. You know what I mean? Like PK Fire, PK Fire. And also just like, and that's the thing, like Pikachu, mind you, like I'm not super with Pikachu's matchup spreadsheet, but I've had success with like zoning Pikachu very easily with Zares, forward airs, and PK Fire. You just cannot approach Lucas grounded, essentially, like, and that's pretty consistent through a lot of his matchups. You used to say this was -1 for Pika. No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think. Why would he think that? I mean, okay. Lucas's event, like I really need to put emphasis on the fact that Lucas's advantage state is like, he will put in 50% against Pikachu if Pikachu's not careful. And same goes for Lucas. It's just like, they're so like, and that's the thing, like, you guys can tell that I'm like struggling to find like solid advantages for both these characters, mostly because like they really have the same thing over each other. Like Pikachu can consistently edgeguard Lucas. Lucas can actually really well edgeguard Pikachu. Pikachu has a really good advantage state. Lucas has a really good advantage state. Neutral is pretty even. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, I play this matchup so vigorously. And I know, like, what works and what does not work. And I'm telling you, like, both these characters struggle in disadvantage. Both these characters are amazing in advantage. Both these characters struggle off stage. And both these characters are amazing off stage. It's, like, weird. It's weird, but it's true. And like, I'm trying to think of something that Pikachu can do that Lucas doesn't have an answer to. And other than like true combos that kill you at like 0, because that's something that Pikachu can do. That's honestly like really like the T, really, is that, yeah, like both their neutrals are even, and Lucas can just outrange and punish Pikachu, whatever. Moving on. Luigi. +2. So easy. So fucking easy. This matchup, if you lose, I'm just kidding. It's not, I'm not going to diss you. But So neutral, right? Luigi's neutral. He kind of consists mostly of just like waiting for a good punish, really, and comboing you. His Zair is really hard to deal with. Sometimes it goes through PK Fire, sometimes it doesn't. I don't want to say it's a better spacing tool than Zair for Lucas's Zair, but I feel like their neutral is pretty like. It's hard to approach Luigi, and it's hard for Luigi to approach Lucas. So it's like it's a very like checkmate, not checkmate, like. Excuse me, I just had a burp. It's kind of just like both characters just struggle to approach, but off stage honestly is where it gets really hard for Luigi. I'm not gonna lie. And disadvantage Luigi, and disadvantage other than down B, which Lucas can so easily bait, by the way. Other than down B, Luigi struggles in disadvantage. And Lucas does not do bad in disadvantage. Lucas has really quick options. He has get away from me tools in this matchup. And Luigi's combos are a little finicky and they're easy to mess up to where Lucas can react sometimes if the Luigi messes up. Whereas Lucas can combo Luigi very consistently. And offstage, oh my god. Assuming that Luigi does not land a misfire that is very hard to calculate, he is so easily edge guarded by Lucas. PK freeze, it can reach him. Forward air, just go up to him, it can reach him. Just stop him in the air, and it does so much for you, right? And Lucas, considering Lucas has such a deadly offstage edge guarding game, it's just very hard for Luigi, honestly, to get on stage. And yeah, like PK Fire in this matchup is just, I don't know, like I don't see an answer from Luigi against PK Fire and his zoning tools, like, and that's about it. And once Lucas gets an advantage, it's like, okay, now you're off stage and now you're in a really shitty position, right? So Ness, right? Now, okay, so this is where shit gets kind of serious, right? Because Lucas Ness, I've also played a lot, and you know what? Screw it. I was on this for a while, and I think this matchup is even. I think these characters have a lot of differences. Like, okay, so let's talk about neutral. Lucas neutral is better than Ness neutral in this matchup. And the reason I say that is because Ness kind of relies heavily on his, disjoints to land like options for combo starters, and PK Fire, right? But PK Fire, like in this matchup, is really hard to implement without like platforms. Like angled PK Fire is pretty useful, considering it's pretty easy to punish Lucas for trying to magnet it if you kind of like know where he's going and know where like if like catching his habits, like that is possible. But Ness losing that capability of using PK Fire freely genuinely like kind of makes it to where Ness has to bait Lucas and punish him. But when you have to bait Lucas and punish him is a problem, because Lucas does not have to approach you. Lucas can just PK Fire, PK Zair, and fucking forward air. Realistically though, I think that Ness's aerials are better than Lucas's. So and it's kind of similar to like how I mentioned with Mario and Pikachu, where you can't really duke it out with Ness. You can't really like, and he has such fast aerials, right? To where if you mess up your advantage state, he will react, and things like that. And it's kind of honestly the same for Lucas, to where Ness's advantage state kind of just is very much, it's not consistent because his aerials are just so fast and small that Lucas can land safely, Lucas can get away safely, and because Ness is so short range, he can just constantly keep him at that mid range. And if Ness does not know how to maneuver through that, he will struggle in neutral. As for offstage, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Lucas beats Ness offstage. And I said it like it's a huge thing, but it's actually, yeah, it's pretty noticeable. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that These Ness and Lucas players are faithful human beings and do not down B your up B at ledge. We're just gonna assume that you do not have that, because honestly, that is just because both characters can do it, and both are just it's annoying, right? But then that leaves that option of like, okay, like Ness has down smash, right? And we need to talk about it. Lucas can beefy up B through up down smash and up smash so consistently. It's a little finicky, I will admit, but if the Lucas angles it right and does it from away from the stage at a good enough angle, Ness will actually end up getting punished more than Lucas. You know, sometimes they trade, sometimes only Lucas gets hit, and sometimes only Ness gets hit, but more often than not, Ness will get hit, whether it's a trade or it's just Lucas. He will, like, again, like, it's finicky, right? So sometimes it works for Ness, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time you will see beefy up B go through his down smash and up smash. So Lucas honestly has an advantage off stage. They're really, like, that's honestly, like, that's like the only really good advantage Lucas has over Ness. So I would, like, if this chart was like that, I would say plus 0.5. But realistically, like, you know, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Captain Falcon. Okay, let's think about this. So Captain Falcon, another fast faller with who's a rushdown, right? His advantage state against Lucas is super good, but also like very short lived. I feel like most of the time, and Lucas's advantage state in this matchup, honestly, is solid. Like, really, just because he's like inherently heavier and a little bit like big bodied compared to a lot of other characters. Well, I don't want to say big body, like he's not big, but you know what I mean. And honestly, as for off stage, like, this character, we need to talk about this because this character recovers so quickly and efficiently and has like really weird hurtbox shifting with his up B that honestly makes it really difficult for Lucas to kind of like be able to PK Thunder him, and he's just a lot faster in the air, and he can just kind of recover from a lot of different horizontally from the ledge, and sometimes even like below the ledge. Lucas kind of like struggles to work around characters who can kind of like mix up their recoveries pretty easily, and I feel like not Ganon, Captain Falcon is one of those characters. But Lucas does have like a really good advantage state in this matchup. So if we're looking at it, neutral is probably like Captain Falcon favored, mostly because like he just has that the ability to approach Lucas, right? And when you have the ability to approach Lucas, you can do a lot. I'm trying to think. Advantage state, I want to say advantage state is Lucas favored, just because like he gets so much more reward. And disadvantage is really not that bad for Lucas. I want to say it's kind of like Ness to where you can kind of get away, but also like Falcon is just so fast that he will just get up to you, right? Like he will just run. He will jump after you, you know, like, and considering Lucas is floaty, it's pretty easy to do that. So if we're gonna decide where he goes, I want to say he's probably maybe -1. Also open to discussion for that, because honestly, like, well, like, I don't want to say that Lucas struggles to edgeguard him, because it really, like, it depends on the Falcon player being able to, like, having like a good understanding of how his up B maneuvers, because up B, like, oh my god, like, you guys, like, I don't know why nobody talks about this. Captain Falcon up B is probably the most ridiculously difficult to catch recoveries in the game. Don't know why. Maybe I'm just stupid. You guys can let me know about that. And actually, you know, I didn't talk too much about PK Fire in this matchup, because PK Fire actually is also really good. Same thing for his zoning tools. Like, his zoning in general is pretty decent, but it really is, it's just scary, because if you're if you're like you can shield approach as Falcon pretty much. All it really takes is just like catching Lucas when he has like literally like the slightest like lag, because the character is just really fast, very rush down. And off stage, I'm trying to think. Cause it might be because I don't know if anyone keeps up with any of my like tournament runs, but I have fought Sir Dank from the Midwest, and he kind of like he shows me what Falcon is capable of, like how he's capable of adapting in this matchup, right? He just played very safe, and he punished a lot of kind of like my miscalculations here and there, and he was just so hard to catch. Like Falcon, if played right, is just a fast, mobile, hurtbox shifting ass character, right? And that's kind of like really what puts him at such an advantage, is that Lucas can't really deal with that as easily as, you know, some other characters, right? And again, if you guys have any questions, like let me know, and if you guys disagree with anything, like please do not be shy. I'm just kind of like, again, like I'm like 100% like just, I'm kind of like freeballing this a little bit. So freeballing, yes. All right, Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff. See, and I kind of want to bring up Yoshi again, right? Yoshi kind of does the same thing as Jigglypuff in neutral, where he kind of is like super mobile in the air and has pretty decent aerials, like really good aerials. Jigglypuff kind of fits that narrative just a little bit. Well, actually, I don't want to say a little bit. Her aerials are actually very, very strong, you know, has very good what's the word? Priority, I want to say. Like it, all I can say is Jigglypuff aerials are very hard to mess with. And the only thing that Lucas really can do against that is forward air. And honestly try to punish Jigglypuff out of shield. And more times than not, when a Jigglypuff sees you shielding, they will side B you. And it becomes very hard to punish that, and it kind of like renders your shield pretty like hard to use for a while. And that's why like shield isn't even like that reliable in this matchup. You kind of have to outspace Jigglypuff, and considering Jigglypuff is so mobile in the air, they will bait and punish you. It's like it's finicky in neutral. So neutral, honestly, like I want to say both characters play very scared in neutral, so generally speaking it's pretty even. However, Jigglypuff advantage state compared to Lucas advantage state, I want to say Lucas's is better, because but that I kind of struggle to fully admit that, because Jigglypuff is light. Oh my god, Jigglypuff is light, and that means Lucas actually cannot keep Jigglypuff in advantage for very long. But it also means Lucas actually can kill Jigglypuff pretty easily. 80 to 90% around at ledge, forward air will kill. 0 forward air will kill at earlier percents. Also, actually, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so generally speaking, I literally completely lost my train of thought. Like, that's so funny. So yeah, advantage state for Jigglypuff, I feel like is kind of like a little harder and a little less consistent than Lucas's is, but Lucas doesn't have the luxury of comboing Jigglypuff that often, because Jigglypuff will eventually fall out of the Nair loops and the up airs and the Zairs. Generally speaking, however, I will say that Lucas has a better punish game than Jigglypuff. And that's kind of what prompts Lucas to do his whole thing where he kind of plays bait and punish, right? Even though it is hard for Jigglypuff, or for Lucas to kind of land a solid hit on Jigglypuff, all he really has to do is find a solid like up air, punishing. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I want to say this matchup is probably better on stages that are a little more flat for the sole reason that, like, well, I don't know. I would have to do kind of like more Jigglypuff experience for that, to be honest with you, because I rarely fight really, really good Jigglypuffs. This whole like matchup spreadsheet is very much like kind of very much on paper, also very much like kind of using my game knowledge right now. And there would definitely be things that I am not aware of. Yes. Well, let me think. Smashville and Hollow in this matchup honestly helps Jigglypuff a lot more than it does for Lucas. Because here's the thing. Lucas offstage actually does struggle against Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is able to deal with his PK Thunder and catch him at ledge with neutral air. And the reason I say that, for stages like Smashville and Hollow, Jigglypuff is not amazing at ledge, and all Jigglypuff really wants to do is kind of just like bait an option at ledge and like maybe like a roll get up read or whatever the case. And on stages like Smashville and Hollow, you kind of like open up the opportunity for Jigglypuff to approach you from the platform, and she can catch your jump, she can catch your roll, she can catch this and that. It's really not like, it really like, I don't want to say Jigglypuff, well, because realistically, Jigglypuff will get disjointed and outranged by Lucas aerials. So it's honestly a little more difficult for Jigglypuff to find an opening than it is for Lucas, because Lucas, he can just use his disjoints and his Zair, and once Jigglypuff is at that percent where she can get killed, it's honestly definitely like much harder, and honestly like Lucas at the ledge is a little scarier. So I want to say like we're gonna give it a +1, just because it's not that like Lucas lenient where he can just approach you, have an amazing advantage state. Similar like with these two characters. That's like a consistent like thing where like the moment Lucas lands a hit on you, it's like bam, okay, you are gonna be in a lot of trouble. The moment you're off stage, you're in trouble. But Jigglypuff is not that. Jigglypuff has a bad advantage state or a disadvantage state, and also like will die easily, but she can kind of like maneuver a little more freely and kind of like escape, and just she has that luxury compared to like Luigi or Donkey Kong, who is pretty like big body, you know what I mean? So anyways, on to the princesses. Let's think about this. People forget that these guys are top tier, right? These girls are top tier. And for this matchup specifically, honestly, I need to stop straying away. We're going to do like, okay, so neutral. Neutral in this matchup is hard for Lucas because Peach has so many quick and safe options that Lucas can approach. Lucas cannot approach this character. Whereas in other matchups like Jigglypuff, that don't have like safe aerials or as safe aerials, or even like, dare I say, like Yoshi. Like even Yoshi doesn't have as consistent of a neutral as like, or like aerials. I mean, his aerials are not as, what's the word I want to use here? In your face, I feel like, as compared to like Peach, right? And her forward air, her back air, oh my god, and mind you, all those things, like some of like her down tilt is a combo starter. Like she has so many combo starters that neutral is just, you have to play safe as Lucas. So you kind of like have that disadvantage in neutral to where you kind of like want to respect her, but also kind of don't want to give her too much space and room to work with. In this matchup, you really, really want stage control, because the moment that you have stage control is when you kind of like make Peach kind of like panic a little bit and force out options, and that is where Lucas can excel and kind of like play like, again, that bait and punish heavy kind of play style. But realistically, it's very hard to get stage control in this matchup because Peach is just so in your face with turn-ups, just constantly there. And it's the moment you get hit, you're going to take a lot of percentage. Now, yeah, so Peach's advantage state, 10 times better than Lucas's in this matchup. She will combo you, and she will get you to kill percent very easily. But Lucas, honestly, and this is kind of going back to like forward air, right? Lucas can outspace. Well, actually, no, he can't. He cannot outspace Peach very well with forward air. And oh my god, I'm getting way too many notifications. That is distracting. This is not fun. Yeah, no, like neutral, like Lucas just has to play bait and punish heavy. And her advantage state is just honestly just like really scary. Off stage, however, also kind of probably a little bit scary for Lucas because, that float is just toxic at the ledge. She can down air the ledge. She can do down air into forward air, mind you, at late percents, and that is honestly just scary. But it is, again, like, it's a little inconsistent to where Lucas can, like, beefy up B at ledge, and it will most of the time catch Peach because Peaches love to kind of stick around ledge, right? Peach, if Peach wants to edge guard Lucas, she is going to have to ledge, like, just be on ledge. She cannot go off stage as easily unless she knows for sure that she can land a solid forward air or back air or whatever the case. As for Lucas, edge guarding Peach, considering this character has so many options like float, side B, and up B, and considering up B goes through so much, oh my god, like trying to get the ball, the PK Thunder to hit Peach off stage is like so difficult. And the thing is, when you hit her horizontally, she like, let's say she's at ledge level, right? Hitting her PK Thunder there is not really going to matter because all she's going to do is just side B, right? And up B back to ledge. The only real safe way for Peach to recover is if she loses, or the only really safe way for Lucas to be able to edge guard Peach is if she loses her jump at a decent distance from the stage. Because all that does is it forces Peach to up B to the ledge. And that is kind of when Lucas can forward air her, forward tilt her. Definitely not PK Thunder. You guys should not use PK Thunder to try to edge guard this character. It's annoying. PK Fire even. PK Fire is, at later percents, yes. PK Fire is good. But I will say, like, your best option to edge guard Peach probably is, like, your aerials and your PK Freeze. But even then, like, those are, like, his worst options. And they're kind of just like a little less reliable than PK Thunder and down smash at ledge. And even down smash is difficult to hit because this girl will hit you at ledge for trying to punish her and two frame her. And honestly, like, we don't talk about this enough. This character is privileged, okay? That up B, ridiculous. That recovery, ridiculous. Her aerials are just so deadly, right? And dare I say, well, actually, let's talk about this, actually, because for those of you who remember, I do kind of intentionally try to up smash out of her combos sometimes, and it's very inconsistent, but it can happen, and it actually is really very useful. And I don't know if I honestly like discussed too much of Lucas's advantage state in this matchup, but Lucas's advantage is actually really, really good, despite his being worse than Peach's advantage state. He can still land decent hits. He can juggle her pretty consistently with up airs. And yeah, but realistically, like, that's it. Advantage state and like praying that he can edge guard her, which is most of the time not possible. So I'm gonna put her in -2 for now. Mostly just because, like, even though like let's say in the case that both these characters are at kill percent, right? Peach is just so much scarier than Lucas. It's just like, I don't know, like neutral is kind of like the determiner of like what makes these matchups for Lucas is like, if Lucas does not have a decent neutral, then he's gonna struggle. Like if he is fighting a character that can approach him easily, he's gonna struggle. If he's fighting a character that has safe options to outzone him, things like that, it's not fun. It's not fun trying to play this out. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if she's like light or featherweight or whatever the case is. If she's lighter or maybe in the mid-light range, but I know she's like lighter than most characters, and that honestly makes it a lot more difficult for Lucas to combo her. And that's kind of why, like, even though like yes, he can land aerials and things like that, Peach is just so much more rewarding. Like, oh my god, right? Moving on. And I'm gonna try to kind of like pump these out a little faster. And if you guys have any questions or anything, just like let me know. I just think like this is honestly taking a little longer than I expected. Like we're already an hour in, and I'm not even like halfway through the cast. But so Bowser, main important thing in this matchup is being wary of Tough Guy and keeping him the hell away from you, realistically. Okay, I know he's a heavy and that he's easy to combo, but this character genuinely is hard to deal with that ledge, is hard to keep away, and hard, and like I said, the premise of Lucas matchups to be good is that he needs to be able to keep you away, right? Because Bowser is not built to zone, right? He needs to approach you. Realistically, PK Fire is pretty good, but Bowser like can kind of like tough guy through PK Fire sometimes, and it's just like scary, right? Especially at early percents. Not to mention how easily this character can actually kill Lucas. He can forward tilt ledge and kill him at like 100%. It's like scary. Like side B will eventually kill. Back air is really quick. Up air is pretty decent. And he has a lot of just super armor that Lucas kind of like struggles against, right? And also like stupid priority on like moves like up smash. Like, come on, right? As for like off stage, well, actually, let's talk about it. Lucas advantage, amazing in this matchup, right? Because inherently Lucas is going to kill any heavy, right? But I also want to mention that Bowser has the luxury of being a little faster than most heavies, and some of his options like have super armor, right? So he can take advantage of that in this matchup. It's a little finicky, but like it's there, right? And also up B out of shield. Oh my god, ridiculously broken, and Lucas cannot approach him for that reason. And that's what I hate. Lucas cannot approach Bowser, and he has the ability to do that against DK, and he has the ability to do that against let me list another heavy like Ganondorf. He can do that against Ridley, but he really just has to play scared when it comes to approaching Bowser, right? I'm trying to think of other characters like even King K. Rool, like obviously King K. Rool. And if we're being honest, I might as well just do this now because this character is very much +2. We'll get to that though. Bowser, again, hard to approach. Lucas has to keep him away, but Bowser excels at being able to approach in the sense that he has those options. He can shield approach, up B out of shield. He has side B. He has a command grab, very important. And a safe out of shield option like that is the kind of thing that Lucas can kind of struggle with. But again, the moment that Lucas catches Bowser, he is in a lot of trouble. Once he puts him off stage, right? Then he's dead. Like, I'm trying to think of like what could Bowser do, right? But unless he like tries to recover high, which Lucas like can just PK freeze. Honestly, like most of the time, PK freeze will take care of Bowser off stage, but PK Thunder will not, and that's the thing. PK Thunder will not go through Tough Guy, and it is just not reliable sometimes. So realistically, I want to say this is a +1 matchup, only because like I said, Lucas does not have that luxury of approaching and keeping advantage state a lot, like compared to some other heavies, right? I'm still going too slow on this, y'all, but yeah, +1. Ice Climbers, also +1. Main important thing is separating these characters from each other, and suddenly they are no longer a threat. And the moment that Lucas lands a neutral air on these characters, good luck trying to get Nana back to Popo. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? Yeah, I honestly like. I will kind of like say it feels +2, but that's kind of like when the Ice Climbers don't really know how to deal with Lucas's options. Ice Climbers have to kind of just like respect Lucas and try to like. I mean, it's really hard to say what Ice Climbers can do other than like having a really, really stupid advantage state if they know what they're doing. And Lucas at ledge is actually very hard. Or let me explain. Let me retry explaining that. Actually, Lucas recovering is difficult in this matchup because there's that ledge trumping. There's there's neutral B at ledge. There's a lot of things that not Kirby, Ice Climbers can do that kind of just like make Lucas's life a little harder. But realistically, Lucas will always recover, right? Yes, Luigi is +2. Lucas will always recover in this matchup. And yeah, really, that's I don't know. Like honestly, I see this as a +2 as well. Just because like it is so unbelievably easy to like separate these characters from each other as Lucas. Like he just has too much, honestly. Sheik, okay. We're gonna try giving these like a little faster, right? So Sheik neutral, neutral is definitely Sheik favored. You know, neutral B just ridiculously hard for Lucas to deal with. He gets outzoned. Well, no, he doesn't get outzoned. It's kind of more like it's so hard to approach Sheik actually because what was I saying? God damn it, this happens a lot. Anyways, back to neutral, right? So what are they called? God damn it. The needles, right. The needles, right. Needles are just like, they're such a core aspect of this matchup because Lucas kind of like cannot play like safe grounded without getting hit by needles. And it just makes his life really difficult, right? So I do want to say neutral is Sheik favored. Advantage state, honestly, I want to say Sheik probably has that in this matchup. If the Sheik knows what they're doing, they will combo you to death. Like, not death, but like they will certainly combo you for a long time. Lucas actually struggles to keep his advantage in this matchup because Sheik is just so fast and so slender. Yes, Sheik is fast and slender and just kind of like has quick options, quick get it, quick, like neutral air and blah blah blah, etc. etc. Now, off stage. Honestly, off stage, Lucas really struggles to edgeguard this character because this character, what is this? This character has so many like inconsistencies in their hurt boxes with up B that your best bet to try to like punish Sheik off stage is to like 2-frame, and when it's like that, then you know like it's not a great thing to try to do. You know, like 2-framing as Lucas is hard with forward tilt, and unless you like know the timing very well, it's going to be very hard for Sheik not to just be able to recover pretty easily. To be honest with you, the only reason why I'm going to be honest, I'm going to put this in -1 for the sole reason that like I'm trying to think. Like, disadvantage is really not that bad because Sheik really doesn't do that much damage compared to Lucas. Even though, like, it's a little scarier and a little harder to get out of disadvantage as Lucas in this matchup, you kind of will catch up easily if you kind of just, like, do, like, a small little combo. You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna just say -1 is where I'm dealing with. Excuse me. Not Peach. Zelda. Let me think about this matchup. Zelda. Okay, so his PK Fire, right? Very important tool in matchups. Very hard to use in this matchup because of Phantom Knight and her neutral B. She can kind of like guard herself with Knight and just keep away from you, and she can kind of like outrange you with like not outrange you. What am I talking about? She's like, she just has, I feel like down B is like covers so much ground and is so hard to punish, especially since she's like active. And the thing is like, right, like you can just run away from Phantom Knight, but all Zelda really has to do is like, she can just outzone you. That's the thing. Like she can essentially shield approach you by keeping her Knight out, and your best bet is to try to grab her. And yeah, honestly, and that is a good point, right? So short hop PK Fire makes it so you can't get reflected by PK Fire. And yeah, right. So sometimes Lucas can low profile, but I feel like that's just kind of inconsistent to where it's still scary, right? Like in certain points, you will get PK Fire in the face if you're not careful. So I'm just kind of like, you know, trying to keep it to where, you know. Let me think. Advantage state, however, horrible for Zelda. Like her advantage state is very hard to maintain compared to Lucas. And the moment that Lucas has stage control and the moment that Lucas can land a hit on Zelda is when Zelda kind of like struggles, is because she kind of doesn't have those get off me tools. She doesn't have the ability to kind of combat him up close. And not to mention the moment that you get Zelda off stage, Zelda will struggle immensely because her best bet is to try to like immediately up B to ledge, but because it's like a teleport, like you will be prone to getting two framed or down smashed, or you know, with forward tilt or down smash. And she just, I feel like Zelda in general just struggles to get off ledge against Lucas. He really just has to bait options because she's a little slow up close. And yeah, like this is a good matchup for Lucas. Like, I don't want to say it's like, it's a little harder to approach than other matchups, but when you play super flowcharty and you really kind of land a hit on this character and gain stage control and advantage state, you kind of just leave her with a lot less options. You know what I mean? All right, Dr. Mario. Let me think about Dr. Mario. I'm not gonna lie, I don't play very many Dr. Marios, but with what I do know about this character is that this character is a little faster than people make him out to be, and well, like in terms of like frame data, right? But I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of like, since he has that same range as Mario, what am I talking about? He kind of like, the only like thing that Mario has over him in this matchup, or Dr. Mario, is that he can actually approach and is fast. Pills are also easy to deal with, especially if there's platforms, right? If the stage is large and there's a lot of platforms, like for example, like Town and City sometimes. Well, actually, I don't know about Town and City because I haven't played that matchup on Town and City. But yes, pills are, and that's the thing, right? Pills, the difference between Fireball and pills is that pills Lucas cannot absorb, which means it does not get rendered useless. And that's really huge because it actually allows Dr. Mario to approach. And considering his speed, that's not very easy to do. But Lucas's real get around that, honestly, is to just jump away. I'm not gonna lie to you. Dr. Mario has not amazing jumps. He does not have amazing, like he can't catch you very easily, is what I'm trying to say. And you can maneuver through pills pretty easily. Hell, you can even reflect it sometimes and get some use out of it. But realistically, like, again, Lucas has just a really, really good advantage state. He can edge guard him so easily, and it's just very, very Lucas favorite in this case. Pichu, another character that I really do not have enough experience against. I can only say that because there are some similarities between Pichu and Pikachu, is that it kind of feels the same. The only difference is that Pichu is actually harder to catch than Pikachu, because obviously like Pichu's smaller, but because Pichu is so much lighter, like, mind you, the lightest character in the game, Lucas can kill this character accidentally, frankly. Like, and that's like, and it's happened to me more than once. Like, I've like forward air at ledge 70, like 80%, that will probably kill around there, like 80 to 90%, and it's just so good. It's an amazing tool in this matchup. PK Fire is not so consistent because Pichu is just so mobile, similar to Pikachu, but also just like I'm gonna be honest, like this is because I don't want to say it's just because of how light this character is. I also don't really understand disadvantage in this matchup very well. To give you guys kind of like a small rundown, I want to say that Pichu just struggles because Lucas just has really dangerous options that can outspace Pichu, and also off stage, I want to say Lucas can punish Pichu, but it's kind of like the same as Pikachu, to where Pikachu can recover from really anywhere. And yeah, I'm pretty set on that, honestly. Falco, right? Falco, let's think. Both these characters' neutrals are kind of like pretty even. Falco can reflect PK Fire. He has safe approach, aerial approaches, right? He can forward air. He can. He has a really fast, like safe neutral air, I want to say, on shield sometimes. And a disadvantage. Oh my god, disadvantage in this matchup is terrible for Lucas. And it's mostly because he's a floaty, but also kind of because like Falco is just known for having like just such a really good like combo game. So if he has you in the air, it becomes very difficult. Not to mention even at ledge. Like at ledge, Lucas is very scared because Falco just has so many quick options to react to Lucas when he's on ledge. And the main thing that Lucas really has in this matchup, and I'm honestly like I don't see it as much, is like probably off stage. Falco, well, I don't want to say he can't down air you consistently off stage, but it's just a lot scarier than people kind of like think to be able to edgeguard Lucas. But Lucas can actually edgeguard Falco pretty decently. He can catch side B pretty well. PK Thunder is actually pretty effective in this matchup. Even down smash. Oh my god, down smash is really, really good against Falco at ledge. Even if Falco's advantage state is better than Lucas's, that's not to say again like Lucas's advantage state is not good in this matchup. Lucas can get this character off stage, and it'll be kind of scary for Falco. But because Falco just has so much recoverability, I guess, he's pretty hard to like understand like where he's coming from, and because a lot of Falcos like to recover high with side B, and considering that he can land with pretty good options, honestly, like this matchup, I want to say it's even, and the reason I want to say it's even is because, well, no, because his frame data is just so much better, honestly, than Lucas's, I feel like. And he can just kind of like kill you a little more consistently, I feel like. Well, no, actually I don't want to say that. They both can like kill each other pretty well. But Lucas just kind of like can't zone this character as easily because really like because of forward air and PK. Here's the thing about Lucas, right? If your PK Fire is rendered useless, then you have to use your backup plans like forward air, right? And in this matchup specifically, his only real tools, if PK Fire doesn't work, I want to say forward air does work, but it's like scary, right? You can up smash fair out of shield. I haven't seen that. I haven't tried that, but I believe it, to be honest with you. But the thing is, again, like, that's not ideal. That's the thing, right? Is you don't want to like try to like punish his forward air with up smash. Like you want a good hit in. You want, you want a combo starter. You want to be able to keep him in disadvantage, and it makes like a forward air like doable. Like you can deal with forward air, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that's not gonna work at early percents. Up smash is gonna get punished if you like. You know what I mean? But I mean, like it's a coin flip. I'm not gonna lie to you. Up smash in general, realistically, is a coin flip because the only way for you to use it consistently, honestly, is if you know frame data ridiculously well. That's how you will know to use up smash in certain situations. And actually, we can talk about that in certain matchups, like some of the fighting game characters, like Kazuya, like that. It actually does get some good uses out of up smash. But yeah, so Falco, honestly, did I say +1? I meant -1. Did I do that with any other character? Let me think. No, I meant -1. It's not +1. Yeah. All right. Marcina. Oh, actually, you know what? We have to do these characters separately. Lucina struggles in neutral, actually. Lucina struggles in neutral. She cannot approach against PK Fire. The only thing she can deal with are his aerials because she outranges him. But neutral generally just kind of like goes Lucas favored in this matchup. And same thing goes for advantage state. Like Lucas can, hi, welcome back. Lucas can kind of keep Lucina in disadvantage pretty easily. The only thing like Lucina can do is like, you know, like brawl it out and like try to aerial and play aggressive out of disadvantage. And that's kind of like where Lucas can actually struggle, is like he has to play respectfully. He has to, if he knows he can't go for a follow-up, he has to respect it. But consistently speaking, like, well, actually, you know, I want to say that this matchup is even because both characters are hard to approach, but also just like Lucas has a, well, I want to say, okay, Lucas has a better advantage than Lucina, just because I feel like she just kind of like is a little slow in the air, right? And just kind of like, I don't know, like that's just how I felt with it. You know what I mean? And off stage, Lucina also struggles, right? If you get this character off stage, you will 7 times out of 10 edgeguard this character because PK Thunder is just very deadly. If you can get the double jump, then that's probably the stock, honestly. So, and the thing is, dare I say this feels like a +1 matchup. Well, actually, I don't want to say that. It might depend on the stage, because flat stages I feel like work better for Lucas, but I feel like characters or really any sorties with platforms, I feel like it's just like you can't play comfortably, I feel. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say it's even. Marth, only because he's just, well, I don't want to say +1. I'm gonna be honest, I do not fight Marth as much as I fight Lucina. So for now, we're just gonna keep him in the same field because I feel like some of the knowledge will kind of like translate. I'm really not going fast with this at all. We're gonna have to speed it up, y'all. So Young Link, bad neutral for Lucas. Worse advantage state. Also worse disadvantage state. Damn, this matchup is annoying, actually, now that I think about it. Off stage, Lucas definitely does better than Young Link in this matchup. I'm going to say that this is like -1. Neutral he has over Lucas, advantage state he has over Lucas, even a disadvantage state he has over Lucas. But it's also really hard for Young Link to recover sometimes against Lucas. So all really Lucas has to do is kind of just like probably bait him, because Young Link will approach you. That's the difference between Young Link and Link, I feel like, is that, well, actually, no, yeah, Link also approaches you, but Link doesn't have to. Young Link kind of does. In order for him to actually get, like, something out of his projectiles, he's going to need to approach you, and that's kind of like where you can kind of try to implement bait and punishes, even though, like, Young Link is pretty fast. Honestly, he has pretty fast options. Once you catch Young Link, throw him off stage, he will struggle to get back on stage. And that's kind of why like this kind of remains a -1 matchup. Ganondorf, +2. Thank you. Mewtwo, and this is another character that I honestly do not play very often. You know what? Maybe I should make a tier to where I just don't really know, and then like when I like release this, I can have like a little like Twitter post about this. But here's what I'm gonna do, Edinburgh, because I genuinely do not fight like, at least not from what I can remember. Like I do not see any Mewtwo's very often. Like even in my scene online, like I don't know. So that's where we're gonna put Mewtwo for now, because I genuinely like I can't like I don't want to say anything. I mean, I will say that this matchup feels very much like Lucas sometimes can't get as many things as he wants. I feel like advantage is actually not that good in this matchup for Lucas. Only at high, like a little mid to late percents. Just because like not late, I don't want to say like mid percents, like once this character like breaks out of that like percentage where they can be comboed easily. He is big bodied, and that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know, like I also just don't fight like Mewtwo's that are competent in this matchup. I want to say, and no offense to any Mewtwo's that I played in the past, I'm so sorry. I just felt that I just don't play this matchup enough. So Chrom is an interesting character, right? Because Chrom is also kind of a rushdown character. Same with Roy, right? Chrom, he has a sword, so he can outrange Lucas, and his options are generally really fast. I do want to say, however, and you can hate me on this, but I want to say that Lucas's advantage state is so much better than Chrom's. Chrom can just kind of like land a few aerials and keep you in the air, but realistically, like that's not going to happen as often as they want you to, because Lucas, when he plays Flowchart, he's grounded essentially and PK firing you and just zoning you out. And the moment that you get off stage as Chrom, you better pray to the fucking Lord, okay, that you can recover, because Lucas has options for everything, right? Uppy is just gonna be like, it's literally just impossible to recover as Chrom in this matchup. So even though like neutral is pretty really like Chrom favored, it's kind of like, I want to say it's even again, because both characters have like largely good advantages over each other. You know what I mean? Like Chrom is such a good neutral against Lucas in this matchup, but Lucas can edgeguard this character so unbelievably well and keep him in disadvantage. So it's kind of like, I want to say probably maybe even a slightly Lucas favor, honestly. Like I do want to say that just because of his recovery. Like it's so, what's the word? Manipulatable. We're just gonna make up words now. Now, Roy is similar in where his neutral is also good. His I feel like for Roy you do have to play a little more up close and personal, in order to get consistent options. And his recovery is leagues better than Chrom's, by the way. It's really good. It's aggressive at ledge, so sometimes you have to shield his up B. Like same for Chrom, but I just feel like his is faster and more reliable than Chrom's up B. And not to mention how scary both these characters actually are at ledge against Lucas. They will try to jerry you. They will try to catch you off of the ledge. And honestly, that might be kind of like why I was kind of like not really sure on like if I want to put him in even or not. But I just think like that recovery is so atrocious, genuinely. But I do want to say that this matchup is even. I will say that this matchup is even. Mr. Game & Watch, -2. Next question. Next question. Next character. Actually, fine. We'll talk about it. I hate this character. I have a burning hatred for this character, and I am so sorry to any Game & Watches that I offend. Lucas cannot approach this character. Lucas cannot zone this character. Lucas cannot edgeguard this character, and Lucas does not have a good advantage in this matchup. For like, it is genuinely like too many inconsistencies, right? Granted, the character's light, so you can kind of get stray hits in there and then try to like bullshit your way through a kill. Um, I want to say you can PK fire, right? You can PK fire, and it's fine. But you kind of have to like think to yourself, like, okay, do I want him to down B my projectiles, or do I want to try zoning him with like other options? And that's the thing, like you can't outzone this character with your aerials, right? He will outzone you, or not zone you, outspace you. I mean, and you don't want that as Lucas, so you really, really want to kind of like keep him with PK Fire, and even honestly, like Game and Watches love to shield, right? Game and Watches will shield so often, right? And for that reason, like you can kind of like grab pretty easily. And that's kind of like the important thing in this matchup is being able to kind of like throw in chip damage until you can like get him to a comfortable enough percent where you can like throw in like a forward air off stage or a forward air at the ledge or whatever the case. And yeah, and that's another thing, like forward air. Okay, his bucket never matters. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I just don't play enough Game and Watches, but I always kind of struggle to use PK Fire in this matchup, mostly just because, well, you know, actually, maybe I'm underestimating PK Fire because maybe I'm just scared to use PK Fire, you know, because PK Fire, it only gives him like 4% worth of bucket, 4, 5, 6 or whatever, and nothing compared to PK Freeze. And you know what? Yeah. I don't think it's -2. I do want to say it's probably -1 for like the sole reason that like I genuinely think like neutral is hard, but it's doable. You know what I mean? Like if you know the matchup, you won't really struggle too hard. But PK Fire, I do underestimate its use a little bit because like I'm just so scared. I hate bucket, y'all. Like bucket is dumb. Can we talk about it? Why does it absorb energy-based projectiles? It is a bucket. Okay. All right. Next character, Metaknight. Here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna like give it like a deep thought. Neutral, I feel like, is a little more Lucas favored. Advantage state is definitely Metaknight favored, I would say. Yeah, probably. You're right. Actually, I did not think about that. When you fill a bucket with fire, you can in fact PK freeze him. You're right. Okay. You know, I don't know why. I don't know why I never thought to use that, but I'm gonna think to use that from now on. So I appreciate that insight. Let me think. What else? So Metaknight, right? I just genuinely hate like Game and Watch, y'all. It's like it's like it has went down as like a horrible matchup through history for me. Like I remember back when I was like first getting into like Smash tournaments, he was like the first character that I struggled with, and I was just like I've just grown a hatred super like for a super long time. So I do have a bit of a bias right now, okay? But again, like that's what this whole thing is about, right? We have to be open to discussion, right? So anyways, back to Metaknight. Oh god, this is gonna be a lot. Metaknight. You don't have to. Metaknight. His advantage state, I want to say, is a little more rewarding than Lucas because, again, Metaknight is lighter than most characters, so he will be able to get out of combos much more easily. Offstage is honestly hard for Lucas because this character can just recover in 5 different ways for fun. 6 if you really count, I guess. But I'm trying to think of like what Lucas can have in this matchup. Like he can zone him for sure. Like neutral in this matchup, probably. Yeah, did I say that Lucas favored? Yeah, probably. I will say that neutral is Lucas favored. PK Freeze is pretty reliable, honestly, off stage. So yes, Zaire does fuck him up. I will say Zaire. I'm kind of like trying to like go through everything at once, and it's just like, oh my god, there's so many things. But like yeah, for sure, Lucas can kind of like space Metaknight pretty easily, like with Zaire and forward air and PK fires. But I also still strongly think that Lucas does not have as good of an advantage state. So good neutral, bad advantage state, bad disadvantage, and bet off stage. So that's kind of giving me -1, y'all. It's giving me -1 right now. Yes, Lucas can never punish this character. It's like wild, actually. All right, the pits. And this is kind of like another character that I genuinely like don't play enough against. But I want to say like I have fought a few good pits and dark pits here and there. Arrow honestly doesn't really work very well in this matchup, and the only thing that really like the pits have against Lucas is kind of they can outspace him, and they can kind of like punish him a little more easily than he can, because these characters are really fast and they kind of like, and oh my god, off stage, horrible. You think it's even? Honestly, like I'm still trying to think of all these characters, like what they have. Orbitars in neutral, like I mean, like not neutral, but on stage, like aren't really useful. But off stage, okay, well, we're gonna do this one at a time because I'm trying to like answer the chat as it goes. But neutral, right? I think that Lucas does fine. I think it's actually pretty even though he does get outspaced. They can't use Orbitars reliably on his PK Fire, and he can take a lot of advantage. Like he can make use of that, right? PK Fire, it makes it extremely hard for the pits to approach him. And honestly, so it's giving even neutral. And as for advantage state, Lucas probably beats them in that case, because Lucas's advantage state in this matchup is very easy, especially because these characters don't have a reliable double jump that other characters do that make them like that's really fast. Their like double jumps are pretty like inconsistent. They're like, or not inconsistent, but just like they kind of leave them there. You know what I mean? Like their jumps kind of leave them there, so they can't really jump out of his jugglers as well. He can kind of catch their landings. But Lucas off stage is terrifying. Like or like pit off stage is terrifying for Lucas, right? Orbitars become very, very scary. It forces you as Lucas to recover from very low and very far, which if you're not comfortable doing that, you will struggle in this matchup. Orbitars are not very reliable at that distance. You can get away with recovering pretty decently if you kind of just always remain below the stage and recover low. So contrary to popular belief, like, or not even popular belief, but like what I would assume, Orbitars actually really aren't that reliable. Yes, they do have a win box, but like it's also finicky, right? So where it's sometimes in order for it to actually be put to use, Pit has to already be near you, right? He has to already have been edge guarding you for the Orbitars to really benefit off stage. So off stage, scary for Lucas. And honestly, I don't want to say Lucas doesn't edge guard the pits well, but he doesn't do it as easily as other characters. Like obviously they can approach with arrow at ledge. They have side B, they have up B, they have multiple jumps. They have really safe aerials at ledge as well. Generally speaking, I want to go ahead and say that this matchup is even, probably. Even though neutral is pretty Lucas favored, I will say like an advantage state. Well, actually, now that I think about it, because these characters rely on arrow like pretty hard, so I want to say that this matchup is probably Lucas favored. Granted, they do have really fast get off me options like neutral air, even down air sometimes, I guess. Like I've seen that. But they can't really like keep Lucas in the air because they can, again, like they don't really catch him as easily. But yeah, cool. All right, ZSS. ZSS. Okay, let's think. Neutral. ZSS favored. Advantage state. Yeah, I would say definitely ZSS favored. Disadvantage, also ZSS favored. Offstage, also really hard. Um, this character is just again has that same like problem as like um other characters like Sheik, where she's just so slender and so mobile, mind you. Um, you can say advantage is like kind of even, but the one thing, well, yeah, honestly, like because she doesn't get rewarded as easily as Lucas does, but at the same time, I don't know what weight class ZSS is, but I think that she kind of like it's just harder to combo her genuinely. Like I don't know what it is about this character, but she's hard to hit, and for Lucas, like landing a solid hit is very important because a lot of his hits will get you an advantage. So honestly, yeah, like this matchup is stupid. Um, let me think. PK Fire though, honestly, PK Fire goes a really long way because PK Fire goes through Zare. PK Fire forces her to kind of respect you and not approach you as easily. And ZSS can actually approach you pretty like easily in this matchup. Like she will be able to approach you. You you don't really want to take her on stages where there are many platforms. Yeah. Oh my God, Zare. Oh my God, ZSS Zare is like the most broken tool in this matchup. Like, if you are fighting Lucas as DSS, congratulations, that is your best option in this matchup. So, open to discussion, but I do comfortably say she is -2. Wario! I'm going to tell you guys right now, this character is free. This character is so free for Lucas, actually. I'm between +1 and +2 because Lucas can zone Wario really well. Lucas can... I want to say Lucas's advantage state is much better than Wario's in this matchup. He cannot keep Lucas for as long as Lucas can keep Wario, and Lucas can actually edge guard this character pretty consistently, honestly. Unless Wario is recovering from above, Lucas can always negate, like, bike. He can always catch his recovery. His recovery's not like super fast. The only thing that like is scary in this matchup is you can honestly say the same thing for like some heavies, some other heavies. Like you don't want to get hit by his big bad moves like down B, right? And you don't want it to get comboed into. Lucas and like forward air is just so really good to negate Wario's approach options like Nair, and I don't know, like maybe I haven't fought a good enough Wario, but like I have fought like Wario's in my region, right? And they're really good. So I don't know, like it just feels like Lucas's advantage is really good. Lucas off stage is really good. Neutral is scary, but doable, and honestly potentially Lucas favored. Like I want to say that. But as for a disadvantage, like if this Wario lands a hit on you, you will take a lot of damage, right? And that's kind of the same with a lot of these characters, except for I guess like Zelda, right? Let's do this. Snake. Okay, I hate this matchup actually. I ironically despise this matchup, right? The one thing immediately about this matchup is that Snake cannot use grenades reliably, right? He cannot use bombs in general reliably because realistically, like you do not want Lucas to recover damage, right? So then it kind of leaves you down to using your normals as or not your normals as your non-bombs, right? So and when you kind of not dumb this character down, but when you save this character down to just those moves, they're actually stupid, you guys. Like not forward air. His dash attack, really fast, really reliable, and honestly, like the cross up allows it to be pretty safe on shield against Lucas because Lucas has no options out of shield, right? Your only bet to kind of not get dash attacked is PK Fire, and just trying to outzone him. And he is going to want to approach you because he can't bomb you, so he will 100% use dash attack most of the time. And realistically, all you gotta do against that is to stay airborne. Honestly, And because from there, all he can really do is try to catch your landing or try to throw bombs at you. But we both know he's not going to want to throw bombs at you. However, I will say no. Okay, so that's okay. I'm getting ahead of myself right now. This character at ledge is kind of scary. If it weren't for just his bombs, right? Like he would 100% be able to if Lucas didn't have to like deal with his stupid options outside of bombs, he would be able to recover very easily and get on stage easily. But because of options that Snake just has that are so stupid at ledge, like C4 covers a lot of space, it's really scary to try to maneuver around, and he can just kind of limit your options so well. And off stage, honestly, Lucas struggles because he can get edgeguard. Fun fact, he can get edgeguarded by Snake, but realistically, you have to use a bomb to try to take advantage of Lucas off stage, and that sometimes will not work in your favor. And Nikita is slow, and considering Lucas has a pretty good recovery, he can kind of maneuver around it pretty well. And honestly, Lucas can't really edgeguard this character, and I think we both know why. So, moving on. Ike. This character, unironically, is a little too fast for my taste sometimes. And he has a lot of safe moves. But I feel like get this character off stage once, and you're just like, fine. You know what I mean? Neutral, I want to say, like, if Ike knows really what they're doing, they will abuse platforms and they will catch you. They will catch you with neutral air. It's really safe. I know we're saying like +2. Oh, you said -2. Okay. But again, like once you put this character off stage, he like, and I know he can like side B, but PK Thunder just covers so much space that it's kind of like sometimes unreliable. And if the moment that you force him to up B at ledge, he will die. So that's kind of why, like, even though neutral is kind of like finicky because neither characters can really approach each other really well. Lucas's advantage state is actually a little, well, actually, advantage state for both characters honestly is pretty even. Because I feel like inherently, because I can put you in the air and just, his advantage is what I'm trying to say. His advantage against Lucas is really, really good. But also Lucas's is really good, right? Lucas can also combo him pretty easily and kind of keep him. They can both kind of like catch each other and do a lot of damage. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I feel like, and that's another thing, right? So Ike's game plan really is simple. And the only time you would be at a scary place against Ike is if you are under him, right? Otherwise, you can kind of keep him away with PK Fire. You know what I mean? So your main goal in this matchup really is to just keep him away and edgeguard him, and punish if you can, realistically. And that usually works pretty well. I don't know why there's a Pokemon trainer dude here. I don't even know. I don't even need to touch this guy. Squirtle. Squirtle. Well, actually, okay, so I don't really know how to do this. Do we want to count the whole character or them individually? Because I'm not really sure what the norm is here. You know what I mean? Jab, destroy Squirtle. Jab, destroy Squirtle. Squirtle -1. Now, hold on. Let's think about it, right? Neutral, Lucas can actually make Squirtle struggle very, very easily. Lucas can punish. That's the thing about this matchup, is that I found it's actually pretty easy to punish this character out of shield sometimes. And Lucas' advantage in this matchup is actually really, really, really good. With Squirtle specifically. Because if he gets you off stage, it's like you're either forced to switch or you're gonna struggle to recover very, very bad. And I don't know, I just feel like Lucas's aerials just kind of like outclass Squirtle usually. You know what I mean? Versus jab. I'm confused. Do you mean Lucas jab versus his grab up to the down tilt and stage controller just gone? True. I'm kind of like trying to understand like how jab can be implemented as opposed to like, you know, PK Fire. I don't know why you would want to ever jab as much as PK Fire. Do you mean like out of grounded options and trying to like brawl it out? I'm not sure. But generally speaking, PK Fire is really good in this matchup. Zoning this character is pretty easy and simple, right? But anyway, I do want to say it's giving +1 just because Lucas just kind of really negates a lot of his options. Ivysaur, let me think. Ivy, okay, so in neutral, Ivy really can't approach Lucas, but you can't say the same about Lucas in Ivysaur, kind of because like, okay, so there's side B, right? There's, I don't know, what do you call it? Whatever, it's Ivysaur side B. You can just reflect it. You can literally just reflect it, and because it lingers so long, and it's such a slow projectile, like a little bit, you're gonna force Ivysaur to just shield, right? Neutral in general, I feel like is kind of even because both of them just have zoning tools. Even though I'm not gonna lie, I still think PK Fire is better than Ivysaur side B. Just because Ivysaur side B is a little slower and just kind of like more easily punishable, right? Off stage, Lucas does a great job. He will force Ivysaur to switch. If you ever want to recover as both Squirtle or Ivysaur, you're probably gonna want to like switch to just switch, because PK Thunder is just really, really hard to maneuver around as Ivysaur because like it just covers so much space. Oh my god. And advantage state is broken for Lucas in this matchup. Oh my god, it's so fun, the advantage state. So I'm gonna say I'm comfortable giving this a +1. Just because I feel like, again, it's just like Lucas can just outpunish Ivysaur. Lucas kind of like, I don't know, like, because I want to say like off stage Lucas can be scared, but like because of like down air, but it's just kind of like it's kind of not strong, and sometimes it's very quick, you know what I mean? So it's just hard to like, what's the word I want to use? I just lost my train of thought again, y'all. This is so funny. All right, moving on. Charizard. Dare I say that this is actually the hardest of the three for Lucas? The one time that I fought, not the one time, there were like a good amount of times that I fought Pokemon trainers. I fought a good decent amount, and they have always stuck with Charizard. They very easily can tell that their options are kind of like rendered useless unless they are playing Zard. And the reason why is because Zard, he just kind of like, he can play so safe easily against Lucas. And Lucas kind of has to be afraid of like some of his approaches, like even side B, like that is scary. That is something you have to consider. And the only thing that really Lucas does have is, I want to say, because his like neutral in general is just scary. Because most of the time they pull out Charizard when it's like last hit kind of situation. And when it comes to last hit, Lucas is much more afraid of Charizard than he is of Lucas. But I will say, like, both characters have their advantages and disadvantages, like off stage. Even though, like, I will say off stage, Charizard recovers pretty consistently because his up B is super armor. The only way for you really to kill Charizard off stage is, I want to say, if you kind of just like, well, I'm hard, like I don't know if I want to say that edge guarding Charizard is easy or not, but I will say that like if you can edge guard him, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna give it even. I will say it's even for sure. I know that this character works best against Lucas, but I also don't want to make it seem like Lucas just kind of rails Pokemon Trainer. You know what I mean? Because I still think like Lucas has an advantage in this matchup specifically, but I also feel like the incorporation of all characters, I don't know, like that's why I had the question of like, okay, are we counting all 3 characters at once, or are we doing like character by character, you know what I mean? And if we are doing like all at once, I will say that this matchup is probably like even for sure. So yeah, Diddy Kong. Let me think about this. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Diddy Kong probably wins this matchup pretty easily. The reason I say that is because Banana Peel, like you can get Banana Peel, you can grab Banana Peel, but Lucas cannot really keep Banana Peel very easily because Diddy Kong is just so fast and can approach pretty well. The only thing Lucas can do is stay in the air, honestly. But even then, like, because the character is so fast, he will be able to catch you sometimes. Advantage state for Lucas is kind of like okay. This character doesn't feel amazing to combo. He doesn't feel amazing to keep in disadvantage. But disadvantage for Lucas is horrible. Lucas will take a lot of damage, and he is just... It's just... He's just fast. Like, and that's another thing like Lucas can struggle against is like... He can negate Banana, but Diddy Kong just has so many consistent tools. He has side B. He can grab pretty easily. He's a pretty fast grappler. I'm not gonna lie. And the only like thing that Lucas has in this matchup realistically is edge guarding. But because I feel like Diddy Kong has a little bit more freedom than most characters when it comes to recovery, his only like scary recovery option is up B. If you get PK Thundered, it's going to be really hard to recover consistently. But again, that really comes down to where the Diddy Kong decides to recover from. You know what I mean? If they're recovering with up B horizontally, you can catch them pretty well. But like from below, it's timing because this character is fast. It's like you would expect to be able to edge guard this character easily, but then they recover so much faster than you expect, and it's just like, okay, well, let me just reset neutral. LOL. Sonic. Oh, actually, let me discuss this before I. So Sonic, okay, neutral, Lucas favored. What? Why is Lucas favorite for neutral? Because PK Fire. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. PK Fire. PK Fire negates side B and down B and just kind of like does not allow Sonic to approach. I'm thinking of this. Lucas actually struggles to... Oh, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself again, but PK Fire genuinely is just so useful, and especially because Sonic stays grounded most of the time, he is going to get hit by PK Fire if he does not approach you safely. I'm answering a text. Okay. So, neutral, I do want to say, like, Lucas kind of, like, it feels kind of even just because, like, it's like, okay, he can just, you know, like, just bait PK Fire and just wait, right? But when you're in range, you have to shield PK Fire as Sonic, and it like shuts him down pretty well. As for advantage state, Lucas definitely has. Well, I want to say that Lucas has a better advantage state, mostly because of the fact that Sonic doesn't really have much of an advantage state, other than the fact that he, like, the moment that he side Bs you, like, yes, he's going to get aerials in, right? But considering Lucas can negate that, it's a lot harder for Sonic to find a decent advantage state, right? Lucas, however, can combo this character pretty well. I want to say he can edge guard Sonic, but because like Sonic has so many options to get back on stage, you kind of have to play a little guessing game. Like, okay, where is he gonna go? PK Freeze, like, and that's another thing. Like, I don't use PK Freeze enough. And like to edge guard specifically, and that's probably why I don't really like mention it very often. But I do want to say PK Freeze might have some of its uses here. Again, like, I don't really use it very much. I just feel like it will force Sonic to react off stage. He is 100% going to air dodge it. He's 100% going to try to move around it, and that's kind of when you can kind of bait options and kind of like. And the reason I don't say PK Freeze or PK Thunder is because PK Thunder is slow. PK Freeze you can use as an option to force your opponent to react and to air dodge and this and that. And once Sonic doesn't have an air dodge, it becomes much easier to kind of like two-frame him, I want to say, because his two-frame is like kind of like easy for like, not easy, but like, I just feel like it's a little more calculated because he has to approach ledge facing ledge or up B ledge facing the ledge. He can kind of mix it up, you know. He can like up B air. I don't know, like I don't know what this character can do, to be honest with you. But yeah, so generally speaking, PK Fire is really good. Lucas has a better advantage state, and like. You have to, like, and I don't want to say, no, I don't want to say it's +1. I don't want to say it's +1. I want to say it's even. And the reason I want to say it's even is because although Sonic can move really fast and, like, has, like stupid good punishes, Lucas can deal with a lot of his options. Like, he can 100% deal with spin dash. He can deal with Sonic at the ledge. He can deal with, and the thing is, like, I don't want to say Sonic doesn't have a way to combat that, right? Like, Sonic can just play campy as hell, right, and look for an opening. And honestly, to be real with you, PK Fire is very hard to use in this matchup, because if you do not do it fast enough and you do not catch him fast enough, he will hit you. Your best bet in order to catch Spin Dash is to remain at mid-range with Sonic. You don't want to be too far, and because all he has to do is wait for you to PK Fire and then he can approach you. But you don't want to be too close to where you're not going to want to bait out the option that you want from him. So I'm gonna just stick with even, because I genuinely don't think Lucas. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I need better experience, but I will put that out there. But I also do want to say confidently that like Lucas does have options in neutral, and Lucas does have options to combat him off stage, and etc. etc. I just feel very passionate about that matchup specifically as well. Moving on, King Dedede. Okay, this is where I feel like some controversy might genuinely be kicking in, because I think Dedede is hard for Lucas. Like, this character, and mind you, Lucas doesn't have amazing anti-airs, which makes combating like neutral air on shield really difficult, especially considering Lucas cannot like punish this character out of shield. Even like Gordo, right? Gordo is like, is that the word, Gordo? Gordo is like a really good just kind of like option to like force you to like either reflect or hit it back. And what that does is it allows King Dedede to be able to approach you. And what that does is it puts him in the ability to kind of like hit your shield, right? Excuse me. And because of that, like, I feel like Lucas can kind of struggle to find punishes against this character. I don't think it's Dedede favored, but I also don't think that it's as easily Lucas favored as people think. I genuinely think that this character is even for Lucas, because advantage is super, super, super good for Lucas. And advantage is not as like, what's the word I want to use? It's not as reliable for King Dedede. But also King Dedede at ledge is terrifying. Okay, he has so many options to cover ledge, and Lucas specifically just kind of like struggles against that. With Gordo, he can like drop off PK Thunder Gordo, that is a thing, and kind of just like force Dedede to shield. You know what I mean? But like other than that, realistically, like it just feels like both characters have really good strengths in this matchup. You know what I mean? Oh god, my computer. Where is the charger? There we go. Come on now. Ooh, okay. Moving on. This motherfucker. Let's think about it. So, Pikmin are annoying, but manageable. And the reason I say that is because Lucas has an element for every Pikmin. He can fire yellow Pikmin, and he can use his aerials against fire Pikmin, and the thing is, you kind of have to change your game plan depending on what this character has. If he has no red and no yellow, approach this motherfucker. Kill his ass like you want to like show something. You know what I mean? Like if this character does not have red Pikmin or yellow Pikmin, you can 100% approach this character very, very easily. But with the moment that the character has that's when you kind of have to play like a little more like, okay, let me like play back. Granted, his options are really fast, so you kind of want to try to outspace him. You like definitely want to go for more neutralized forward airs, but also just kind of like purple Pikmin are probably the hardest thing for Lucas to deal with, because they go through PK Fire, and you can't just kind of like raw dog them, you know what I mean? Like as for you can for the smaller Pikmin, where they can just latch onto you and you can approach anyway. You can't do that against purple Pikmin. So as Olimar, your best bet is to try to get as many purples and yellows. That is what your like Pikmin want to look like, is purple and yellow. It literally like just negates his aerials, which I don't understand, by the way. Like, why do his aerials have electric properties and they're not even electricity? Like, what is the deal? You know what I mean? But anyways, and that's neutral though, right? Neutral's kind of like I'm gonna be honest, neutral is pretty even. Like, these characters both struggle to approach each other, and that's the thing about Olimar, is that he doesn't have to approach you. He can just throw his Pikmin realistically. Yeah, honestly, neutral is probably a little more Olimar favored. I want to say his advantage is also really good. Yeah, advantage is really stupid on Olimar in this matchup. Let me think. Offstage, also really hard for Lucas. He kind of struggles to edgeguard him, and he can't really do much to that. Realistically, he can, I want to say he can kind of like catch him with aerials, but you think Olimar disadvantage? That's the thing. I'm not really sure what Olimar can do in disadvantage, and that's why I don't want to like be like, okay, Lucas's advantage is really good in this matchup, because I know down B is a thing, and it negates a lot of like combos from Lucas, because Lucas's are a little less reliable than most characters in some cases. But yeah, so recovering as Olimar is really hard for Lucas to deal with, because he can just recover easily from above. Exactly. But yes, if Olimar does not know what he's doing, he will recover low, and Lucas can take advantage of that with up B and down smash and etc. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this matchup is Olimar favored. Maybe not like super, super bad, but yeah. Lucario. I think this matchup is so infamously like Lucas favored, but I also have just never, ever, ever fought a good Lucario. Not that I can remember. I did try playing the character and experimenting with him a little bit, but I just think that Lucas can outspace him so easily, and Lucario kind of just like doesn't really have any options in neutral to deal with Lucas. I don't really know much about Lucario advantage and disadvantage. I just know that I've never struggled against Lucario in advantage. So I'm gonna just go ahead and be safe and say that it's a +1 matchup. Just because like neutral B is such an important tool for Lucario, I feel like, more often than people think. And I've done my like research and like experimentation on this character. I've tried to pick up this character here and there, but like he's just like so finicky, and I feel like he's just not as rewarding, unless you're like behind, which I feel like is just so not what Smash Ultimate is about at all. Because the moment that you get behind, somehow you have an advantage. I'm looking at you and you and you and you and motherfucking who else? Who else am I gonna be mad at? You know what I mean? Like, because the meta has shifted so far from, I don't know. Lucario is just not great right now. Rob. Oh God. All right, let's do this. Neutral for Rob. Probably better than Lucas. Only because Gyro. Well, actually, let's be honest. The moment that you get a hold of Gyro, you are going to force an approach from Rob because he cannot just neutral be you all day. So realistically speaking, neutral, I want to say Lucas favored, just because Lucas can zone him if you have Gyro, and that just forces him to approach you, right? As for advantage, Lucas has a really, really good advantage, but so does Rob, right? Rob can kind of like fuck the shit up out of Lucas, and it's just like not fun at all. If he gets you off stage, terrifying for Lucas. Lucas can actually struggle to deal with Rob off stage, and like you cannot say that about a lot of characters, because Lucas's recovery generally is very safe and very hard to punish. And so honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and like try to like be a little faster with these. I want to say this matchup is even, just because I want to say Lucas struggles to edgeguard this character, but Lucas can keep this character in disadvantage pretty well. You can actually catch this character's landing pretty easily if he recovers high with PK freeze. You practically force them not to land on you or land with a neutral air. Hey Jace, what's up? So like, yeah, it's -1. It's -1. It's just so scary because Lucas just has to play so much more careful than Rob in this matchup. Rob can kind of like approach with Nair, and Lucas kind of just has to be like, okay. But the moment you have Gyro though, I'm not gonna lie to you, Lucas gains an out of shield option. Like you can Z drop, like out of like you can punish Nair, but that's like again that's situational. Toon Link, definitely the easiest of the links, but still really fucking stupid and annoying. Generally speaking, Lucas does struggle against characters who cover so much of the stage, and are still fast up close. And that's kind of what all the links feel like, is that they cover so much space and they're just super fast, right? But Toon Link's main problem is that he has the most exploitable recovery out of every one of them, and that's really why, like, and also his bombs are slower, much less reliable than Young Link and regular Link's bombs. Arrows are slower, much easier to deal with, and same thing for Boomerang. Just his projectiles are generally much slower than the other Links, and it just makes them much more manageable. And yeah, I will say I'm gonna put this character in even, just because neutral is so fucking annoying. And also because you will get punished easily if you're not careful. You know what I mean? And yeah, and this character is actually pretty stupid out of shield as well. Like, it's hard to approach him as hard as it is to keep him from hitting you with projectiles. But edgeguarding this character is easier than the rest of the links. And that's really big for Lucas, because Lucas can get very easy gimps with his edgeguarding tools like PK Thunder and PK Freeze. Oh, excuse me. Moving on. Wolf. Wolf, okay, the main important thing about Wolf is that he's fast and strong. The only thing about him that like is exploitable realistically, I want to say you can punish some of his approaches in neutral, but his recovery is also pretty exploitable. I've kind of like, I want to say like Lucas semi struggles to like this character is pretty, like, yeah, like for sure, like definitely like easily cheesable. Side B's calculated, you know, very easily able to down smash or forward tilt him at the ledge. Up B also very calculated, similar to like Fox and Falco up B, right? A little faster, a little bigger hitbox, but a down smash will, you know, usually take care of the job. You know what I mean? I feel like neutral, I do want to say probably Lucas favored, but realistically Wolf never really keeps you in neutral. He usually does approach you with his like really safe aerials. He will grab you as well, and that's what I hate about him, right? But Wolf Lucas, I don't know, y'all, because I play this matchup a lot, and there are times where I've struggled against good players, but there are also times where I have not. So it's like that's the thing. Once you get this character off stage, it's pretty free. You know what I mean? But also, like, disadvantage state is like kind of scary for Lucas in this matchup. Disadvantage state. If you are at ledge against Wolf, it's also scary. You know, at one wrong move and you will die to a down smash at like 70. And that's kind of why, like, I don't want to say it's like a Lucas favor, just because I feel like this character is fast enough and is like, he does have a good enough punish game. And when it comes to like late percent, like I still think like this character is very hard to put up with in neutral. But I also just think that both advantages are pretty good in this matchup. You know what I mean? Villager, okay. Another character that I don't really fight too much of. I believe I had one really, really good villager in the Midwest, who I want to say we were pretty even, maybe. But the most important thing is that neutral is bad for Lucas. Slingshot ruins everything. Slingshot is the most unfun forward air and back air in the entire game. And it is literally just, what if I poke at you and you can't do anything about it because it's also safe from this distance? In terms of advantage and disadvantage, I do want to say, like, Lucas does have a better advantage, but it's really not that great compared to other matchups. Just because, like, I feel like this character can get away a little more easily than some characters. And this is one of the only characters in the game that I actually can make it similar to Rob, where he can make it really hard for Lucas to recover. I'm going to go ahead and say it feels very, very -1, because when you lose the ability to kind of like recover consistently in a matchup as Lucas and kind of have a bad neutral, it's giving like a good enough villager will be able to negate your neutral and put you off stage and make it very scary for you. Realistically, Lucas can also edgeguard this character, but it's kind of like, I still think it's definitely like more for villager favor. You know what I mean? All right, moving on. Mega Man. Oh my God, this character, Mega Man, is stupid in neutral. Not as great of an advantage state as Lucas. I will say his disadvantage is pretty bad in this matchup compared to Lucas. Even though I'm not gonna lie, his advantage state is decent. I just feel like Lucas will get a little bit more bang for his buck sometimes. Because this character has a lot of projectiles, inherently Lucas is kind of equipped to deal with that. Even though realistically you don't want to be reflecting and absorbing all the time. I mean, absorbing all the time, frankly, if you can. If you can absorb his projectiles, then by any means do so, because you can get away with it. Side B is kind of hard to deal with, but again, like, you can just like shield it. You know what I mean? Like side being from off stage, you can just shield it, you can reflect it, you can even absorb it. But I'm gonna be honest, it's usually more worth to reflect or just shield it. I just feel like because neutral is so bad for Lucas in this matchup, that you're gonna be at advantage state much less often. And that's why I want to say that this matchup is pretty bad, but also like that's another thing is like, because he kind of has like a Sonic up B, it makes his recover a little harder to exploit. But also just because he can like, because his options are just a little more reliable than Sonic's out of up B, I feel like he can like, you know, like just kind of like shut you up sometimes. And also his aerials are really fast, just generally like a really good like brawler character. I just find it really hard for Lucas to kind of like find openings. At ledge, Lucas is like, he's not, and that's another thing. I don't think about PK Freeze very often, so I will say like PK Freeze might work against his recovery, but I have yet to kind of like implement that, because honestly, like PK Freeze I mostly just use as like a shield pressure and trying to like either bait options or cover some of the stage, for example. Because believe it or not, PK freezing people from far on stage is very, very possible. But yeah, like this matchup, like he just has so many projectiles, so many ways to approach Lucas. Lucas can absorb as many of his projectiles as he wants to. But I will say, like, Lucas off stage probably has some answers, like 100%. Like I have been able to, like, you know, edge guard this character. I'm gonna say I'm pretty confident with -2. Just because, like, but I do have a little bit of a bias, because this character I just really just am not very fond of. But anyways, moving on. Wii Fit Trainer. Wii Fit Trainer can outzone Luke, not outzone, but she can outcamp Lucas pretty consistently. And that kind of like negates neutral in this matchup. I will say Lucas's advantage state is, I want to say it's even this matchup, because the only thing Lucas really has over Wii Fit Trainer probably is his ability to edge guard her. Actually, yeah, that's actually what I did not think about at first. His ability to edge guard this character, unlike other characters, an inability to edge guard this character, I feel like he has options to deal with Soccer Ball. He has options, like he can down smash that ledge pretty easily. Thunder, yeah, again, Thunder is an amazing tool against Soccer Ball. If anything, it gives you more damage on her as well, and it like allows you to just like get so many hits off PK Thunder. Yeah, I'm pretty confident with +1. All right, Rosalina. Let me think about this. Rosalina in neutral kind of just plays very campy, and at least from like what I see, again, this is another character that I don't see very often. If I'm being honest with you, I might just put her in I don't know, because I genuinely do not fight Rosalinas. Like, now that I think about it, like this character is definitely in my I don't know list for now. What makes Mewtwo I don't know? Similar thing. I genuinely just do not fight. I don't know enough about this character, to be honest with you. I feel like there's not much, like, I feel like Mewtwo is pretty straightforward enough, but I just think, like, I know that there are things that I probably don't know of, because I don't know, I just don't see enough Mewtwo, personally. If you guys have any suggestions, like, for videos and stuff, I would love to see a good Mewtwo, like, for sure. Who else? So yeah, and Rosa, like, again, like, I just have not fought enough Rosalina. But I will say, based off what I do know, I just feel like Lucas can get rid of Luma pretty easily. All it takes is like a forward air dash attack, and suddenly, like, Rosalina now has to play safe. Because 9 times out of 10, a Rosalina will want to camp to get retrieve her Luma, and because Lucas can just maneuver a little more easily in the air, I feel like he can catch her pretty well. It's hard to zone her just because of down B. But at the same time, I don't really see her using down B in neutral very much to combat PK Fire. I feel like, I don't know. Yes, advantage, I will say for sure, I do notice advantage is really, really good in this matchup. You know what? Okay, I don't want to say I don't know enough about this character. I just don't know, like, I haven't seen gameplay of this character at a high enough skill ceiling to where I know for sure, like, how the character functions and what the character's disadvantage is like and what character can react with and stuff like that. Because I do want to be safe and just keep her in, I don't know, just because I don't see high level Rosalina. I could watch the Buzz, I'm not gonna lie, but between me and you guys, I do not really watch very much Smash, and it's bad. It's bad. You can be mad at me for sure, but I do, like, here and there, like, it's not like I don't see, like, you know, like, big events and stuff. But anyways, moving on. Little Mac +2. PK Fire, great tool in this matchup. You can literally just go on any stage with platforms and you're fine. You will be fine against this character. Any stage with platforms. The moment you take him to FD, suddenly this matchup is even. And the reason I say that is because this character is just so fast, and Lil Mac's shield approaching is, like, stupid good because his tilts are really stupid, and just his ground game in general is just very, very underestimated, right? But otherwise, +2, realistically. Greninja! Okay, another hot take. I think this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, is even. Now, one thing about this matchup is that I know I have said that Lucas struggles against rush downs pretty easily, or pretty badly, but the one thing that Greninja really wants is either neutral air or dash attack, and that's kind of where because realistically, neutral, definitely Lucas' favorite, he can outzone him, but when it comes to approaching and having those options, Greninja does excel, but at the same time, like, Lucas can maneuver around neutral air, and if he has platforms, right? Another matchup where kind of platforms are really important, because it's the same case as Fox, to where you can kind of hide and punish Greninja a little more easily. The only difference between Fox and Greninja is that Greninja can recover a little more safely than Fox can, and Lucas cannot do what's it called? I'm trying to think. He can't really do, like, the Zair into down air, even though this character is also a fast baller. But his Zair is still very, very deadly because he is a fast faller. Off stage, Lucas does fine, and honestly, it's just that, like, I genuinely don't see anything Greninja has that Lucas does not have an answer to. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of what it goes for a lot of these characters, like in the even matchup. It's just like like, there are strengths, but then there are weaknesses, right? I don't know. I guess that's how it goes. I'm gonna be honest. I really want to be one of those people that just don't care about the Mii fighters. Um, but I'm gonna give you like a quick like brawler -1, sword fighter +1, and gunners even. Yep, that's how it goes. Brawler is the best into Lucas, and Swordy's the worst. So yeah, I've genuinely never struggled against any kind of Mii sword fighter. I've only really struggled against well, I don't want to say any Mii sword fighter. I have fought some really good Mii sword fighters, but it is like, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna be honest. I don't see sword fighter as much as I see brawler or what's it called, gunner. But yeah, again, like these characters, whatever. We already took care of this guy. Palutena, also even. I have fought a wide range of Palutena players, and I can fairly say that both characters have strengths and both characters have weaknesses. Lucas can ledge guard this character actually more easily than most characters. Generally speaking, if you don't have a good 2-frame option, you will struggle against anybody who has a teleport up B. Lucas can negate side B. Lucas can negate neutral B, which are pretty important for some matchups in Palutena. Lucas can do Nair loops just as Palutena can do Nair loops. Lucas can juggle just as Palutena can juggle him with up air. Lucas can, I don't know, like it just feels like both characters are scary in both positions. Like when you're off stage against Palutena, it's kind of the same. I feel like if you're really consistent, you can try countering Lucas up B, but it's very, very, very finicky. Like it, 9 times out of 10, it will not happen. What else? Down tilt at ledge is actually very, very good for Palutena. That's probably like the one thing where like it's gonna be scary as Lucas. You like cannot deal with down tilt and like Palutena at ledge in general. But also, I don't know what her weight class is, but I feel like this character is pretty easy to kill sometimes. I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, I'm pretty solid on even. Pac-Man. Okay, let's think. -1. I can say that for sure. Because, and let me think about this. Lucas. Okay, so when you can get out camped, that's kind of when Lucas is forced to approach. And Lucas should not be forced to approach because he doesn't like to approach, even though his options are fast and like spacey. Pac-Man just has so many great out of shield options. He has so many setups, and just fruit are just so hard to deal with. The only time where you're in an advantage as Lucas realistically is when he's off stage, and even that is really hard. You kind of have to like play super calculated and understand like what the Pac-Man is plotting out there. Lucas can deal with hydrant pretty easily, you know, just like a forward air, down tilt, and it's in a good spot. It's pretty fast, you know. You should never try to approach Pac-Man in the air, because I don't know, his aerials feel very safe and just very reliable compared to Lucas sometimes, and it's just like it's annoying. Okay, Robin. Let me think. Because his projectiles, I feel like, are quick, especially Thunder, I don't want to immediately say that this is Lucas even or Lucas favored. But then at the same time, like, if you're fighting a Lucas who's gonna bait your options, then you're 100% gonna get your shit like absorbed, right? Lucas can edge guard Robin pretty decently. Down smash is very reliable if you know like the timing. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm already gonna put this matchup in -2, by the way, but we'll get there. Yeah, so Robin, he can't really use arc fire reliably at ledge. Lucas can like maneuver around his options pretty well there. So yeah, I would say, yeah, I'm pretty confident. Shulk. way too big of aerials for Lucas to deal with. He can play rushdown. He can not die. He can kill you early. And because he's inherently a swordy with like the biggest sword in the game, Lucas will not be able to put up with that. You do not want to play on like small battlefield against this character. He will platform camp you at ledge when you're at ledge. And just like it's just annoying. Like this matchup gives me PTSD, y'all. If you guys want me to like cry, play this matchup. Like genuinely, like I think that this might be like among Lucas's like top 3 worst matchups. Along with like maybe like ZSS and whoever else we'll get to, but we'll get there. Bowser Jr., another character I kind of don't see enough of, but I will say I have fought quite a few, and I will say that Lucas does have a solution for a lot of his tools. You can deal with side B. You can, catch the Mecha Koopa, the little Mecha Koopa. PK Fire is very reliable. You can edge guard this character pretty reliably as well if you kind of like can read where they're going. Overall, just like another kind of big character that can get gimped pretty easily. He has a decent advantage against Lucas, but Lucas's is just so overwhelmingly better, by the way. Yes, Paisy is very much Paisy favored, unfortunately, for Lucas. Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is a matchup where if you are in advantage, you're in a great spot, but the moment that you leave this character alone, you are going to struggle. I'm going to go ahead and say it's even just because I feel like Lucas has such a good advantage and he can actually edge guard this character very easily, but neutral is just so difficult sometimes with this character. You have to like understand like you kind of have to keep track of how his like when his side B is coming out. Also keep track of his down B. And the moment that this character sees you playing safe, he can't approach you. As if you're playing Lucas, because inherently you won't have many options to negate his approach if he has all those projectiles on you. But at the same time, again, advantage state for Lucas is so good. And my mom is calling me again. You guys are gonna have to give me 10 milliseconds. All right. Let's get back to the programming or whatever. All right. So this matchup. I'm thinking. Ken +1. Okay, hold on. My computer's dying. We'll get there. Hold on. Ryu is even. What? Crazy. The only reason for that is because of Red Hadoken. I don't even know the name of it. Red Hadoken and just the fact that his side B is the way that it is, honestly, is just much more reliable than Ken's side B. Lucas can sometimes up smash out of his side B and even like what's it called? I don't know. It's just that is kind of like it's a huge difference for neutral and advantage for these characters is the fact that his side B is more consistent and reliable than his. Generally speaking, Lucas's advantage state is also really good in this matchup, and he will be able to edge guard these characters very easily. And yeah, well, yeah, that's another thing. Like this character, like I want to say, like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this guy as a little further, and then we're gonna put this guy down here because, I'm gonna be honest. Like realistically, like it's a slight difference, but it makes a huge difference in neutral that he has Red Hadoken. And the fact that Ken doesn't have that makes it really hard for him to deal with Lucas in neutral. And that's why, like, the only reason why it's not +2 though is because, like, he does have a decent advantage and he can keep Lucas off of him. He has good get off me tools, and stuff like that, Cloud. -1 because neutral is horrible and trying to edgeguard this character is really, really fun, but also, like, sometimes scary. Genie. Steal your toes. Thank you for coming in. Oh my god. And yeah, that's really the premise of this character. Like, he has such a good neutral against Lucas. Oh my god. He has such a great neutral against Lucas. I don't want to say neutral, because neutral in my head is, like, not doing anything. He can just approach Lucas so easily and outspace him. No, I am not sick, sorry. I don't know what the hell. I have a frog in my throat, I guess. But anyways, I just think, like, this character can approach Lucas so easily compared to a lot of characters. And he can actually punish PK Fire, which not a lot of characters can usually do. And once you're off stage, like, he has, like, this weird aerial drift to where, like, he can always make it without needing to use his jump or his air dodge, I guess. But I don't know, like, it's finicky. So it's like, it sometimes is reliable, sometimes is not. Usually off stage, Lucas will kind of get the advantage most of the time. But God, like, advantage state for this character is also much better than Lucas's. Okay, Corin. Corin is another character that I kind of just, like, have not played enough against often. But I feel like he's a little similar to, I want to say, like, the Pits in a way where, like, he does have fast, reliable combo starters, and get off me tools, and he's a swordy inherently, so he will be able to kind of, like, keep you in disadvantage, which is another thing. Like, you do not have a good disadvantage in this matchup at all against Corin, right? And you also don't really have that great of an advantage. Like, it doesn't feel amazing to combo this character, but it's there, but I still genuinely think, like, Corin can keep you at bay much more easily. Also, this character is, like, a little hard to edge guard sometimes, so it's kind of like, and by the way, I should mention, this is not ordered at all. I don't know if I needed to mention that, but this isn't really ordered. The only characters that I guess I'm ordering are the Shotos. But yeah. Bayonetta! Are you guys ready for this? Lucas wins this matchup. And let me explain, okay? I play both these characters religiously, right? And I know their strengths in and out. And I know they're, okay. Because I've played against Lucas's as Bayo, but I've also played against Bayo's as Lucas. I've fought really good Bayos, but I have not fought really good Lucas's, right? But when I fight Bayo, the main thing that Lucas does is zone her. And when I tell you this character sucks against zoners, like Link, I want to say, well, honestly, anyone like that is like that. Oh my god. Snake, oh my god, that is probably one of her worst matchups. Even, honestly, I do want to say even Zelda sometimes. Like, there are certain characters that have zoning tools against Bayonetta that can take advantage of her, but this isn't about Bayonetta. Lucas can zone her, which makes neutral very, very easy for him. And the thing is, Bayonetta can combo him pretty well, because he's a floaty. But because Bayo is light and Lucas has really scary options, I feel like that doesn't really do much for her in this matchup. The one thing that Lucas can, like, do that, like, nobody knows is he can edge guard Bayonetta. Lucas can edge guard. I want you guys to understand, Lucas can edge guard so many characters very, very well, and Bayonetta is one of them. I know that her recovery is, like, ridiculously stupid, but the premise of this matchup and edgeguarding this character is all you have to do is catch her double jump. When you catch her double jump, Off stage, she is only limited to up B, side B, and air dodge. Side B, easily forward tiltable. Up B, easily forward tilt. Well, actually, not. I don't want to say easily because it can you can get hit at ledge if you try to forward tilt. Down smash is pretty reliable, and air dodge you can obviously deal with by down smashing, and that's why both characters have solid advantage states. Lucas's is definitely not as rewarding, but in this case, it's kind of like Bayo doesn't really have I don't know. I just think in the terms of percentage spread in this matchup, I think it's generally even advantage state wise. Lucas's disadvantage, I will say, is much worse than Bayonetta's. For sure, just because she has that air dodge, right? She can combo you if you're not sure what you're doing in advantage state. She can kind of change advantage state into her own. But Lucas does not have to do those things. Lucas can literally just zone her and throw her off stage. She generally struggles against characters who shield a lot because she doesn't really have amazing options on shield, and Lucas and any matchup that Lucas can hurt you out of shield is bad, right? And in this matchup, that kind of is the case sometimes, and that's why I'm pretty comfortable putting her in +1. This is honestly much longer than I expected, but we're raw dogging it. Inkling, even. Both characters have a scary neutral. Both characters have a scary advantage state. Though dare I say, I think that Lucas's advantage is slightly better in this matchup. Lucas can edgeguard this character more easily than they can edgeguard him. You kind of render Splat Bomb useless, by the way. Splat Bomb does not work in this matchup. Where's Palu? Palu is right here and even. What else? I don't know. I just feel like advantage state is kind of similar, but also slight. I mean, I don't know. I think advantage state is pretty even actually. Inkling at ledge actually is not very great in this matchup. And I know a lot of Inkling's strengths come from their ability to kind of ledge trap pretty well, but because they don't have bomb and they don't really and Lucas has beefy up B, right? You can't really stick at ledge as Inklings. So generally speaking, I will say this is definitely an even matchup. Ridley is do I want to say he's +1 or do I want to say he's +2? Because Lucas can edgeguard this character very easily. He can combo this character and keep him in disadvantage very easily. But also Ridley just has a lot of quick reliable options sometimes to get off me tools. And Ridley can actually play patient pretty well in this matchup. Generally speaking, however, Lucas does have the advantage most of the time. Hey, oh my god, hi O'Care, how have you been? I haven't seen you in so long. Save for you, Snowball. Oh my god, I just noticed. I really need to open chat more often, to be honest. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna say I'm pretty comfortable putting Ridley in +1 based off just general how I feel about it. So as for the Belmonts, also +1 because believe it or not, Lucas can outzone this character in this matchup. I can easily reflect is it neutral B? No, side B. I can easily reflect side B, easily absorb down B. Same for Axe. The only really good thing that Richter and Belmont have in this matchup is Richter and Belmont, please. Richter and Simon have in this matchup is they're kind of their aerials, I want to say, their forward air and back air and stuff. It just genuinely catches Lucas very, very well at mid-range sometimes. Which is why you kind of want to keep these characters away unless you can handle a really good hit as Lucas. But yeah, generally speaking, Lucas can easily exploit their recovery, and they have a pretty bad disadvantage in this matchup. But neutral, I do want to say, well, I mean, yeah, I could also probably say that this is a +2. but like I have fought really decent like Belmont players, and I will say like they have it like they're not, their neutral is not super bad, but I do still think that Lucas can outzone this character. All right, moving on. Isabelle. It's literally same thing as like Villager. I'm not gonna lie, where they're both like they both have forward air, and which makes neutral so much worse for Lucas. Both have pocket that make it just kind of scary for Lucas off stage. It's a lot easier for Lucas to get on ledge in this matchup. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it's even actually, just because Villager or Isabelle does not have what Villager has, which is like his setups that are much more reliable. Like, or actually no, I'm not even gonna like speak on the character because I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how this character works necessarily. But from a feeling wise, I just think like Lucas can catch out Isabelle much more easily than he can Villager, especially considering Villager has side B and Lucas kind of like has to either respect or try to reflect in a good way, but even then he can just pocket it, you know what I mean? But you can also negate down B from Isabelle pretty easily, like just forward air, forward tilt, whatever the case. Obviously, like they might try to bait that into like trying to punish you, but because Lucas's options are pretty fast, I feel like that never really happens as often as it normally could. Instant War -2. I mean +2. What am I doing? Because this character is slow. He cannot deal with you zoning him, and he will get edge guarded and he will get comboed, and those are like the main things in the matchups. So Plant. Kind of another character that I might need to see more of. But at the same time, I have played like a good amount online against this character. I will say like neutral is probably Lucas' favor, just because. Well, I'd say neutral is even, just because this character can like play very like campy a little bit, and Lucas, that does force Lucas to approach, and sometimes against Piranha Plant you don't want to have to approach, generally speaking, because if they land a good punish they will like you will take a lot of damage, and if you are off stage as Lucas it is very hard. But you know, I'm gonna say this matchup is probably slight Lucas favor, just because his advantage state is like the one thing he has, but it's such a good advantage state that Piranha Plant is probably going to end up in disadvantage more often in advantage. And that's kind of why, like, and you're going to end up off stage as Plant, and that's never where you want to be in this matchup. Even though it's pretty hard to exploit Piranha Plant's recovery, you're going to be off stage a lot of times in this matchup. And in the off chance that Lucas does land a solid hit off stage, you probably will get gimped. Joker. All right. We're like slowly getting into like top tier territory considering this is DLC. And I will say this matchup probably -1. Mostly just because I think Joker has a better neutral. Lucas, well, yes, Lucas does in fact have a better advantage state in this matchup. And the reason I say that is because Lucas can combo this character more easily. He can get him out of Arsene pretty well, and he can keep him off stage as Arsene. Like, I'm telling you, this character can edge guard anybody. You feel me? And that's kind of why, like, I don't want to put him in -1. I want to put him in even, is because if you are off stage as Joker, most of the time you will get gimped from a good Lucas player. His PK Thunder sends you far enough to where you won't be able to recover easily, but also hit you enough to where his tether recovery won't work. Arsene is exploitable. You can do a lot of things against Arsene, actually. You can take advantage of his recovery by... Oh god, my mom is calling me again. God damn it. This happens all the time. This is like the Blucas thing. That's what I've accepted it as. Okay. Oh my god, I did not pay attention to these. Oh my god, thank you, Dizzy Boom. Thank you, Fly Guy Pike. Thank you, Reverse Ideology. And thank you, Flam144. Now, where was I? Joker. Joker, he has a better neutral. He has a worse disadvantage than Lucas. Well, I just feel like, okay, no, I will say Joker has a lot of more quicker and easier follow-up options than Lucas. So I will say that in terms of advantage state, it's even, mostly because it feels the same for both characters, where once they land a hit, they're going to combo you to deal a lot of damage. The only difference is that at high percent, Joker kind of becomes much scarier than Lucas, because Joker has fast kill options compared to Lucas. Like, just back air, his approach options are really good. But as, like, generally speaking, not generally speaking, but I don't know, I'm going based off mostly like how I feel and how I know the character, and I can confidently say that like this character feels very even. Like I don't struggle against this character as much as I would struggle against like a fucking Shulk, or hell, even a Corin. Like, well, do I feel like it's -1? I don't know. See, like I'm thinking a lot. Anyways, Hero. I don't like this character. Not gonna lie. But I'm gonna go ahead and say +1, because most of the things that he throws at you, you can probably absorb. You can out-camp this character unless he has accelerate. But realistically speaking, you can edgeguard this character very easily. The only thing you gotta be scared of is like his RNG, and just kind of like play safe when you know he's about to pull some stupid shit. And really, yeah. Banjo. Neutral is probably Lucas favored, just because Lucas can't really deal with neutral B very, very well. Honestly, he can shield it, but he's kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like most characters kind of struggle against is it neutral B? His little egg launcher. Yeah, that is kind of like pretty much like the only neutral tool that Lucas kind of struggles with realistically. He can kind of like just ignore bomb realistically, or he can just like grab it and recover, and that's the thing, like he can just grab bomb and then just run away and recover, and that's perfectly like capable. He's capable of doing that 100%. His disadvantage state in this matchup, Lucas's, is really not bad compared to like neutral is the only time where it gets scary. Once Lucas is in an advantage, or once Banjo's off stage, I feel like you kind of mostly like just have to catch his recovery, honestly. And unless he has Wonder Wing, that's very like possible. Terry. Okay, so Terry is probably among the best of the fighting game characters against Lucas, because Terry has really good approach options compared to, I feel like, the Shotos, because he has like, I don't even know the name of these things, but like his little flip kick, right? That's like a really solid approach option against Lucas, able to catch him. He has really good like he's a really good advantage state in this matchup, I would say. But so does Lucas, you know? So it's like, you know, I kind of just like see both sides of that. As for Terry's disadvantage, is really, really bad compared to Lucas's actually in this matchup. He kind of struggles to stay away from Lucas if he's in disadvantage. You can kind of try to like play aggressive and out of disadvantage, but yeah, and usually like the aerials will trade and things like that. I do want to say this matchup is like, dare I say it's Lucas' favor? Like, no, it's definitely not. But Because the moment that you get that character to 100%, he will like land a solid hit on you and are you okay your ass. So I'm pretty comfortable saying like this matchup is even. You know what I mean? Belvith. No. Byleth. Oh my god. See, this is why I watch too much League. Byleth has a worse neutral, worse advantage state, worse disadvantage state, and sucks at recovering. This is a really, really good matchup for Lucas. He can't really deal with Lucas very well at ledge. He can't really like ledge trap him very easily. He can get gimped very easily by Lucas. He can't use neutral B in this matchup. He can land like the only really good thing he has in this matchup is like neutral air. And I'm gonna be honest with you, you shouldn't allow this character to neutral air your shield as Lucas. If you get neutral air, all you have to really do is just jump away or roll or whatever the case. But like getting this character off stage spells death very often. So Min. Neutral is, we're not even going to talk about neutral against this character, okay? Horrible neutral for Lucas. Great advantage, but it's just so unbelievably hard to approach this character. But the moment that you get her off stage, again, it's like doable. You know what I mean? I feel like it's, I would say this matchup is pretty Lucas' favor. Potentially slightly even, just because like neutral is just like so ridiculous in this matchup. Like you can approach her, and the moment you approach her, she just runs away and just hits you at the same distance. She can't edgeguard Lucas, which is like fine. She can play at ledge pretty well, and that's another thing. Like Lucas will not be able to land on stage if he's not careful. But I'm gonna be honest, you just gotta time a good like double jump air dodge through her arms. You know what I mean? Like all she'll be able to do then realistically is kind of like try to punish you on a platform, depending on the stage. Which is why you never want to take this character. Like this should go without saying. Do not take this character to a flat stage. You will regret living. Moving on. Steve. Okay. I am a strong believer that Lucas is a cure for this character. And the reason I say this is because Lucas has... Okay, this is gonna be a long one. Lucas has such good mid-range options that constantly keeps Steve on his toes. He's gonna run out of resources. What the hell? He is gonna run out of resources if you kind of constantly PK fire his ass. He's going to try to panic side B you. He's going to try to approach you. But because you're at that mid range, you can always react to side B. You can always react to a dash attack, of grab. You can always react to any options who pulls out. His main goal is to negate PK fire by building a wall. And then all you have to do really is just break the wall and keep PK firing. Like, PK freeze is usually the best option because it forces them to shield if they're really close to their blocks. And you can kind of PK freeze above their blocks if they don't build them high enough. And you really just want to be able to like soak all this man's resources to force him to approach you to where you can play bait and punish heavy, and that is exactly what you want in this matchup. Lucas can edgeguard this character pretty well. He has PK Fire, he has PK Thunder, despite this character's recovery being fucking ridiculous, right? The one thing that Lucas struggles against is recovering, and like, if Steve knows angles from Lucas and knows where you're gonna recover, all he has to do is block. And sometimes it's a coin flip to where sometimes the block gets destroyed and you hit the wall and you can recover. And Lucas is kind of one of the only characters that is capable of doing that, which is why I like genuinely think like this character is like a cure for Steve. Like, he can edgeguard the character pretty well. He can soak out his resources pretty well. And it's really just important playing like patient and very aware of Steve's options, right? The moment, however, that Steve gets you in disadvantage, you are going to struggle because Steve advantage is like stupid, right? Generally speaking, I think that this matchup is even because both characters have equally good strengths in this matchup, but Lucas, like, compared to a lot of other characters, can actually, like, what's the word I want to say, like, exploit his game plan and kind of like, not exploit, but like negate his game plan. I keep saying that word, but whatever. Negate his game plan by just simply keeping him at mid-range, keeping him on his toes, and stuff like that. So, Sephiroth. I'm thinking. Neutral? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot less manageable than you would think. Mostly because of his neutral B, I think. Is it his neutral B? The little whatever. He kind of like, he can abuse the shit out of that move sometimes in mid-range, and Lucas kind of can't PK fire because of it. And that's kind of like really scary for Lucas without PK fire. And another thing is this character has a really stupid punish game. I feel like his aerials are just so big. He has such a long sword. Your main goal is to try to find an opening as Lucas, which is still very hard in this matchup to approach Sephiroth. But the thing is, because this character is also lightweight, your advantage state is not that amazing in this matchup. Unless there are very low percents, you probably won't be able to maintain a combo past like 50%. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want to say this matchup is -1. I also just think like Lucas kind of, let me think. PK Thunder is really good. You could like exploit this character's recovery pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's even, just because neutral is like a little finicky, a little like I can't use PK fire very reliably. He has a counter as well, which is another thing like you have to be aware of. And other than that, like, you can't keep him in Zare trains very much, which is sad. Well, even though it's possible because he's a little big bodied, but yeah, honestly, I'm okay with putting him in even for now. Pyra Mithra. -1 Pyra. I'm trying to think of this. I don't want to say -1. This character is slow, right? And Lucas can approach her in the air very well because her aerial game is kind of like not amazing, and it's a little slower and less reliable compared to Mithra. You can catch her landings a little more easily. You just gotta be aware of like down air on shield. You can always catch that. It's like very easy to catch that out of shield. Even though this character sometimes is pretty lagless, I still think like you can deal with Pyra. But as for Mithra, like Mithra is just, again, that rush down heavy playstyle. And considering like this character has better frame data than Pyra, and with like kind of like a little less range, even though like she's still a shorty, right? So Lucas kind of has to pray that once you're at a high percent, they switch to Pyra, and that you change on that, and that you know, this is probably like a really scary matchup. I might even say it's like against a good player, because I haven't fought like amazing Mithra players in the past, like with like amazing fundamentals. But I will say like Mithra, generally speaking, is just like so hard to punish, and when you can't punish as Lucas, it's very scary. Kazuya. Are you guys ready for this? Also +1. What? And the reason I say that is because neutral, very, very, very Lucas favored. All he really has to do, and this is obviously assuming you're not on FD, for example. Kazuya cannot really do much in the air, so you kind of just have to stay airborne constantly in this matchup. You do not want to be in disadvantage, and even when you are in disadvantage, like I feel like a lot of Kazuyas like to put you on the ground sometimes, and Lucas can up smash out of a lot of his combos. I've done it so many times, and it's hilarious, actually. And that's why, like, playing this character is really funny how I lined up his hair with Bowser Jr. That just, like, completely caught me off guard. That's funny. Anyways, and yeah, so neutral is pretty Lucas favored. He can reflect PK fire, but it also comes down to the fact that you kind of just keep it at that mid range, even though it's such a powerful and fast reflector. I just feel like it's a little hard to time and a little hard to like use all like very often. So neutral, generally speaking, is Lucas favor. Disadvantage is really not that bad for Lucas. And if you put Kazuya off stage, unless like he tries, like you can wait and bait his resources and then kind of like find aerials to beat out his like up B. His up B is kind of stupid, I'm not gonna lie, but him off stage is very scary. Like he will die if he's not careful. And another thing is Lucas's advantage state is also really good in this matchup as well. If he puts you off stage, like it's just another matchup where the moment you go off stage, you are going to be in a lot of trouble against Lucas. Sora! Finally, we are on our last character. Sora, not reliable projectiles in this matchup, and he needs them sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, his advantage state is actually really good in this matchup. And Lucas's is actually not amazing, especially because he has a counter and he just has like really fast get off me tools sometimes. Like for example, like up B and stuff like that. I want to say this matchup is even for the sole reason that like you kind of like don't do much in neutral. You kind of wait for him to approach you, and when he approaches you, it's like he has pretty fast options. You can kind of take advantage. Like Lucas has a really good advantage state, but it's kind of like the same. Well, I don't know. I feel like this could slightly be Lucas' favor, but at the same time, when you're off stage as Lucas, you are gonna get downbeat, and it is not gonna be fun. You will die. Like if this Sora knows what they're doing, they're gonna downbeat you and try to edgeguard you. And that's another thing. Lucas cannot edgeguard this character reliably. So honestly, like, yeah, no, I'm pretty good on even. So that should be everything. I'm gonna go back to Rosalina. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Rosalina is even, and the reason I say that is because you can get rid of Luma pretty easily, and you can catch her when she's camping. You can't edgeguard her as amazingly as some characters. I feel like she can kind of recover high pretty well if she has Luma. I mean, you can also catch her landing with PK Fire. I'm gonna say +1. Fuck it, it's +1. I believe that because his advantage state is really good. You can edgeguard her pretty okay. As long as you keep her away from Luma, like don't let her have Luma, you will be fine. And as for that, honestly, like yeah, that's how I feel. Genuinely. I'm open to any questions as well. This is kind of like I'm pretty solid about this. Like I feel pretty confident about this. Yeah, and that's about it for the matchup sheet. Honestly, I will get back to it and kind of like talk about Mewtwo. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post this. Why isn't Rob -2? Because Lucas has good options against Rob. I can kind of go over that again, I suppose. Once you steal Gyro, so okay, we're gonna run it down. Neutral is Lucas favored because, well, it's only Rob favored if you don't have Gyro. The moment that you have Gyro, you force Rob to approach you. You can take advantage of Gyro by catching him out of shield when he nares your shield. You can't edgeguard this character very well, but you have a very good advantage state. Generally speaking, though, he can out-brawl you and has a lot more reliable like setups, and he kind of just like has so many like large hitboxes and it's just really fast, and that's why, like, generally speaking, yes, this is a bad matchup for Lucas, but it's not like impossible, you know what I mean? There is a flowchart, like there is something you can do, you know what I mean? And unless anybody has any more questions, I am probably going to head out. I know this is like super short-lived and very fast. I just thought that it would be a good idea to pump out a matchup chart because I've never really done that, and I feel very strongly about Lucas. I think that he is very underestimated and that he can do really well. I'm trying to like go out to tournaments and stuff, you guys, but like considering like financially and like a lot of things going on in my life, it's really hard. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm very glad that you find it nice to watch, Mr. Jace. Jace Tales, sorry. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully I can start trying to pump out content. Actually, before I finish this, how do I make sure to where this is uploaded? Like, where do I put this? How do I do that? You know what I mean? Like, where do I go? Does anyone happen to know? Because I want less chance to save. What do you mean? Oh, it's talking about money. Y'all, you can show me? Okay, how about we... Let's do it. How do I do this? How do I make sure like this can get posted? Where do I go? Save the VOD. Yes. Is it this? Start replay. Test widgets. Is it? I don't know how to open performance window. Do I do it through here or like where do I? Let's see. Settings. General. Confirm stream time. Just stop stream and it's there on Twitch. True, but I don't want to take that like risk. Like, what if it's not there? You know what I mean? Logged in. Okay, let's see. Is there a way I can save this on my computer? It'll autosave. Okay, here, let me check. How can I? What the fuck? How can I do that? Let's figure it out really quick. Stream manager, there we go. But Twitch is a really bitch, so they had lose your online search to 100 gigabytes. I'm fine. This is not 100 gigabytes, I don't think. Stream, play in background. How do I do this? How do I save this? Reward request, no. Mod actions, quick actions. I cannot figure this out. Okay, until I really don't know how to figure out how to save the stream. Like, what if I want to save it on my computer and upload it that way? You know what I mean? Here's what I'm gonna do, actually. Before I upload and before I decide to upload, I'm kind of gonna, like, throw it on Twitter and, like, see how it does. And then I guess, like, maybe, like, post the video if people ask. But I do still want to figure out a way to save this. I just don't know how to, you know, like, save it. Scene collections? I don't know. It's saved to your Twitch automatically. Oh. Really? Okay, well, whatever. I guess that's fine. Okay. With that being said then, I'm going to try to pump this out and we'll see how it goes. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you, O'Care. Thank you, Jace. Thank you, Anthony. It was so nice to see you. Thank you, 3ML Dash. Thank you, Flom. Thank you, Mr. Steal Your Toes. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. It genuinely means so much. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you another time.